Hey, podcast listeners. Dana here. Can I let you guys in on a little secret? Just between us. We like all of you much, much more than the folks that listen live. But no matter how, when, or where you check out the Hams podcast, we got to give thanks to our friends at Standard Heating for making it all possible. It's been a pretty tame winter so far, but we know well enough that we're not out of the woods yet. So hit up standardheating.com to get them out to your house to make sure your furnace is tuned up to do all of the furnace-y types of things it's supposed to do. I'm still learning the lingo. Make that appointment today. Become a Smart Club member like me. That's standardheating.com. Enjoy the show.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. 93 Air.
5-day work week, Josh.
You prepared? Did you talk yourself up? Think you're going to be able to do it? Positive affirmations? Did you say your mantra?
Man, that's a lot of questions in a row. I'm pretty confident. I think we can pump one out. I think we can, a 5-day work week. Welcome to the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. Hope you folks had the greatest weekend of your effing lives. And we thank you so much for being there for us. This is living right here. On a quick side note, this is living. Waking up in February, jumping into your motor vehicle without having to light a fire underneath it first.
Nice. Yeah.
It's 40 degrees out there right now.
I went on a walk yesterday outside with a light coat on.
There you go, light coat. And I know we just got an entire winter's worth of this kind of stuff last year, but I just need to express how much I dig it. I do. This is fun. This is living. Later on this morning, Dr. P. Jesus will be stopping on in. Save up your questions about your general health issues until around 8:20. And then you can text the doctor and get some professional advice, if you like. Maybe one or two of you could stand to text with a doctor about a hernia or double hernia. Or maybe some acne issues, or double acne.
Oh. Sounds horrible. He who is not named by Nick Jesus said last Monday driving south of Hastings, 23 below on this day.
Yeah.
This morning, 43 above.
It's a hell of a swing.
Yeah. If that happened in the same day, it could kill somebody.
Yep. It would certainly kill some of the wildlife out there.
You got to take that in stride.
I dig it. Yeah, a week ago it was miserable. This is glorious. Like I said, this is how you should be able to go about things. Ashley, I saw something or another yesterday that made me think of your pregnant punk ass. And I chuckled a little bit. First off, I went summers yesterday that I'd never been afore. My wife took me there. She called it the Galleria.
I used to work there.
That's the joint you worked at?
Yeah.
Where you worked at Good Earth?
Correct.
Okay, that's still there.
It is, yes.
Because I walked by a place called the Good Earth, and I said to my wife, I said, Josh used to work at a Good Earth back when he was a kid, and she said, who? Because the two of you are unfamiliar. That's the joint you used to work at?
Uh-huh.
Okay, yesterday was my first time walking into the Galleria in Edina, Minnesota. Let me tell you, fancy and schmancy.
Ooh, yeah.
You guys have all been there before?
Yeah.
Did they have armed guards outside the purse store?
Funny you bring that up.
What?
It's funny you bring that up because we walked past. I was just like a 4-year-old. But I have that. I still have that element of boyhood wonder when I experience something for the very first time. And the wife was busting my balls about it because I'd never been to a place so friggin' fancy. And
it's how the other half live over there in Edina.
It certainly is. I thought I was going to run into, Rob Lowe and Pete Davidson.
Funny you say that.
Whoever that is.
Because there used to be celebrities that would go there quite often and go to the Good Earth, because it's, like a healthy type of joint. And so when they were filming Mallrats.
Oh, here we go again with the Mallrats.
All right, never mind.
No, it's not your fault.
That's okay.
It's not your fault.
No, I feel like it's my fault since I brought it up.
No. You can always talk about Mallrats. What happened when Mallrats was in town?
The cast of Mallrats would come there. They're filming out in Eden Prairie, but they'd come there quite a bit. That's where they went and Shannon Doherty would get her smoothies and wheatgrass shots.
I love that they went from one mall to the other mall.
But, at the time, I don't think that mall was much where they were shooting.
Sure.
Shannon Doherty would come and get her, what'd you call it?
Her wheatgrass shots and smoothies. So I'd have a wheatgrass shot for her because it's pretty much the same time every day. And that's where I met Jason
Lee.
Jason Lee.
I remember these stories.
He used to skateboard in our parking lot over
That's
there.
cool.
I don't know why the part of the story where you worked at the Galleria, I don't know why that escaped me, but this is all just playing together so perfectly. You know every turn in the joint, and yesterday was my first time. But you mentioned the armed guards. We walked by a jewelry store, and my wife said to me, usually there are armed guards in front of this jewelry store because the stuff is so friggin' expensive. So that's just...
Wow.
We were there shopping for furniture.
Oh, shoot Gabberts?
That doesn't sound right.
Oh, that place is nice.
That doesn't sound
I'm trying
right.
to think if there's another shopping, unless they changed, it's not Gabberts anymore. That was like the one that was there.
You may be right.
Was it right across the hallway from Good Earth?
No. We walked a little ways past that joint. I can't remember the names of the places that we walked into, and that's where I saw something that reminded me of Ashley's current situation. She's knocked up. And this was also a first time for me. We walked into this furniture store, and I saw something called a nursing chair.
Yup. Could you buy me one?
Is it a glider?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, could you buy me one? Those are expensive.
I did not, I did not check the price tag, and I didn't look at any details, Josh. I just walked past, and I saw a couple of chairs, and I saw a sign that said nursing chairs.
Yep.
And I'd never seen one before in my life, and if I knew how to take a picture with my cell phone, I would have taken a picture and sent it to you, Ashley, with some kind of smart-ass comment to boot. A nursing chair.
The Galleria is where I learned how expensive art could be, art that I didn't understand. There's an art store that used to be right by Good Earth. It's been a while since I've been there. And basically, like the artist, what he would do is he would sneeze on an easel and then charge $25,000.
See, I didn't walk by any art unless I was looking at my shoes or, I was so fascinated by the place. I'd never been in a place like that before in my life. And, and of course, the wife busted my balls up and down, again, because I was so in awe, of, ooh, wow, look at this, look at that. She was busting my chops. When we pulled in to the parking lot, this Galleria joint, so I said, so this is like a mall? And she said, no, it's not like a mall. This is the Galleria. And she explained to me that this is like a little fancier than your typical mall. And the part where she really teed off on me is when I asked if there was maybe a Dairy Queen or an Orange Julius somewhere in the joint. She was disgusted by me, Josh, for my lack of sophistication.
Were you across the hallway from Big Bowl?
I don't remember seeing a Big Bowl.
Oh, the Big Bowl.
But I was
trying because there's like a pottery barn there or something. It's killing me where you were now.
Well, like I said, I was pretty overwhelmed. If you shouted out a couple of fancy furniture stores, I could probably confirm by memory which ones I walked into. But I was so overwhelmed and out of my element that I couldn't tell you too many specifics.
There's I can think of maybe only 3 fancy furniture stores, but I don't believe they've got isn't Room and Board fancy?
That sounds right.
Or Restoration Hardware?
The first one sounded right. Room and Board. And we saw those nursing chairs. So is that something that you're dialed into? Are you going to get yourself a nursing chair?
Yeah, I'm very dialed into all that. But I think I could just get a recliner or something that just doesn't have the word nursing in front of it, and it wouldn't be as expensive.
Save a lot of money.
Yeah, you know how that happens
Well, what
as
are
soon
they
as you
going
put...
for? Tell me about this, because I didn't look at a price tag.
I'd say around $300. And if you want the really good ones that have a USB port on the side, so you don't have to get up. You can just chill there.
Dude,
Those
I
are
want
like
a nursing chair. That sounds awesome.
I'll bet
Yeah, they're like
you'll find
500,
someone.
600.
You'll find someone you know who wants to get rid of a nursing chair.
yeah. That's how I've gotten some stuff already.
You plug
That's how
one-
I got my milking table. You know, people they just get tired of this stuff.
You're not gonna spend full price on a milking table when you could get a used milking.
Heck no. I want that thing broken
What do
in.
you do, Ashley? You plug one end into the baby, the other into the USB port? I don't know. What do you mean?
Oh, like if you need to charge your phone or
Oh,
something.
your phone.
Yeah, it just makes it easier because then you don't have to get up at all.
What?
Actually, last night I was looking up because I'm putting together my baby registry, and it takes forever. There's so much stuff to put on this thing, and I was looking up mini fridges because you need to have like a. It's
beer
nice
fridge
to
for
have
the kid?
a beer fridge or
Yeah.
something like that to put all the milk. And
Milk, a lot of milk. I just bought a mini fridge recently. Those don't set you back too bad.
No, those are pretty cheap.
But the nursing chair you say is $300 something. My God.
Yeah. Oh, you should see stroller prices. My gosh.
Were you at Crate and Barrel?
That sounds right.
Oh, I love
Thank
that
you.
place.
Ask me about CrossFit Jesus.
That sounds right.
I've never been to the Galleria.
Dude,
Dude, it's intimidating.
I gotta check it out.
I didn't think it was intimidating. I thought of it as kind of invigorating. Really, I thought, wow, this is so clean and I don't understand 80% of what I'm looking at through the windows. There was one store where I looked in the window and looked and looked and looked until I had to finally look forward. I was going to crash into somebody. And I'm walking past. I still don't know what they had in there.
Oh,
I
wow.
couldn't identify it just by passing by Josh and looking in the window.
I'm looking at pictures, and this place is beautiful.
Sorry,
Galleria?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
Probably
like a strip
annoying.
mall on steroids.
It was well, definitely more than a strip mall, yeah. It was, even back in the day, it was crazy fancy.
Yeah.
And it's way more fancy now.
Did you see any other famous people there?
No, not really.
you were
I mean,
working?
there was people that someone would point out, say, "Oh, that's so and so," and I didn't recognize who it was.
My sister spent the gal who should be Josh's wife. That's where I had the little brain fart there. My sister spent a lot of her younger days working retail, and I think it was when she was working in Uptown. She'd see a few famous people walk in and out shopping for clothes. Did I make it clear? When I say retail, do folks understand that means clothes?
Yep.
Okay, good. Okay. She was selling clothes, my sister, when she was a younger person, and some famous people would walk by, and probably the most famous that ever walked into the joint, Janet Jackson.
That's awesome.
Oh, dude, sweet.
This is about 1991 or 90. Janet Jackson. Gorgeous. My God. And I recently was listening to some of her music. She had some great songs. But my sister got in trouble with Janet Jackson because it was just my sister and one other gal working that afternoon. And in walks Janet Jackson. She's probably recording an album here. She liked to record albums here for one reason or another. And Janet walked around the joint and looked at some Bobby Brown pants and some other kinds of pants and some shirts and socks and underwears. And then she didn't buy anything. She walked out. And you ever have this kind of a situation, Josh, where you're positive that you're not speaking loud enough for the person across the room to hear you, but you shouldn't have been so positive?
Yeah.
As she was leaving, I don't remember if it was my sister or her coworker that said, as Janet Jackson was leaving, they said, "She's got kind of a big ass." And Janet Jackson turned around and gave them a dirty look on their way out.
Oh, that wasn't a compliment yet.
Not yet. Yes, exactly. I was just going to say, back then that wasn't a now people would love that.
Yeah.
You're right. They said, "She's got kind of a big ass." What's wrong with you now, Ashley? Are you sick?
I don't know. This started on Saturday. I feel completely fine. My
God.
voice is just weird.
Yeah.
It probably didn't help that I went to Monster Jam on Saturday, and you have to talk pretty loudly to be heard there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That'll
that
destroy my weak little baby voice, too.
I also have just been blaming everything that's wrong with me on being pregnant. So.
Oh.
I blamed a lot of stuff wrong with me on you being pregnant, too. She's pregnant.
Go ahead.
You know, you mentioned that registry. There's some stuff on there I wasn't quite expecting, because yesterday I saw, we were at, what's that place called? Sam's Club.
Galleria.
Yeah, not quite as fancy as Galleria, but I find it satisfying.
Man, it would have been something if we would have run into each other yesterday at the Galleria.
Yeah, well, my wife likes to go to Lululemon, and then we go to that Big Bowl every once in a while.
In the Galleria?
Yeah, tasty stuff.
So you go there, okay.
Yeah, we'll meet like friends that live in that area.
I'll tell you what. Yesterday you were at Sam's Club.
So we go to Sam's Club, and I saw a huge thing of pistachios, and I thought, oh, once Ashley has the baby, we're going to buy her those.
Heck yeah.
But I didn't know you'd be disappointed now because you want a mini fridge and a chair and all these kind of things. I thought pistachios would make your day.
No, that'll absolutely make my day. There's a couple things I wanted to put. Do you guys know that like nugget ice? So like hospital ice,
Oh, yeah.
Sonic ice. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So those are, you can get a really expensive one, or you can get ones that are cheaper, only like $40, $50. And I was talking to my fiance, and I was like, dude, can I put that on the baby registry? Can we use that for something related to the baby so that I can finally have a nugget ice maker? He said no.
Yeah, if you get like one of the nicer ones, aren't they like $500-$600?
Oh, the super nice. Yeah, it's crazy. All the influencers have one.
Is that right?
Yeah, to make their fancy coffee and stuff.
Oh,
Coffee.
God.
Iced coffee, yeah.
Oh, iced coffee. I forgot you can do that with coffee.
Classic Country Jesus has texted in, and he recommends shopping at a place called International Market Square.
Oh, I've heard of it.
That's where my prom was.
Oh, wait, that's right over here, isn't it?
Yeah, right off 394 and 94
and 55 and all kinds
Oh,
of
so
stuff.
no, then. I thought
by
that.
Target Field.
Yeah, it's by the farmers market, I believe.
Okay, that's not where I thought it was.
Oh, that place looks cool.
That's not where I thought that was. What's wrong with your voice, Dana? Does anyone have a voice?
Everybody's struggling.
I thought I knew where International Market Square was. I think we had our 5-year high school class reunion there. I don't know.
Wow, this
I'll
place
keep
is
that in mind.
pretty.
Yeah, it's bougie.
But how do I go anywhere else now, Josh, that I've experienced the Galleria?
How do you go anywhere else?
Yeah.
Well, no offense to the Galleria, but after 2 trips to the Galleria, yeah, I want to know, are you going to go anywhere else?
You mean because of the money?
Because of the money.
Well, we didn't buy anything. We looked at some things.
You know it's a nice place, a nice fancy store, furniture store, when you're not looked at all because they can tell you're poor. Nobody wants to help you. What a waste of time.
There was one time where I went to the Galleria to buy something at a jewelry store. I knew exactly what I wanted, and I walked into the place. You can imagine how I was dressed, kind of the way I do now. It looked like trash. And you could just see the 2 salespeople kind of looking at each other, like almost playing rock, paper, scissors in their minds, like, oh, all right, I'll go deal with this derelict.
I'm not moving. Are you moving?
I've asked my wife a few times, like, if there's a fancy store or area we're going in, if I'll say, how poor do we look? You can tell. I mean, they can smell it on you.
You can always tell by the shoes, too.
Oh, I never thought of that.
Yeah,
My shoes are destroyed.
When I go to the boat show that they have at the Minneapolis Convention Center,
Yeah?
I
Take
can
a
always
break to
tell.
clear
yeah,
the throat.
I had to get that out of there. I can always tell by the shoes.
You can tell by the shoes what?
Like who the rich people are, who actually has a chance to buy a boat there that day.
Okay.
How rich do I look?
What's Josh wearing on his feet? What's he wearing?
I'd say like a median income household.
Let me see your shows today.
Like lower middle class?
Oh, those are just tennis shoes.
Yeah, but they're like kind of beat up, dirty.
Are those much bigger than they should be for you?
No, I've got big feet.
They look very long.
And by the way, the stereotype is not true. I have big feet.
How big are your feet? How big a shoe do you wear?
They're more wide than long.
Yeah, you have fat feet.
Yeah, 10 and a half.
10
you
and
have
a
to get
half.
wides. Yeah.
I got big, wide feet.
You got girthy feet.
If it makes you feel better, my shoes are probably in much worse shape.
Are they really?
Not as bad as your voice.
I know, it's making me mad now.
Just calm down.
My youngest has the same size feet. His just aren't as fat.
Speaking of your youngest, and we were talking about nursing chairs. Who nursed him? You or your wife?
I did.
You did?
Yeah. My wife was pretty much useless in the whole process. I gave him life.
Yes, you did. How was, did you get anything done during your bachelor weekend?
Didn't really do too much. We went bowling.
How's your back and your thighs?
I'm fine so far. I bet tomorrow I'll be a little sore.
Last time I went bowling, the next day my back and my thighs were just afire. So you went bowling?
I didn't even break 100. It was embarrassing.
Oh, no. Were the kids razzing you?
No, because nobody was good, and it was all birthday parties.
Okay.
And we were so smushed in there. We had to stand single file behind the ball return. There's no place to sit.
Jesus.
There's kids everywhere.
Over was kids' day at the bowling alley.
Oh, it was, I never thought, because this was Saturday, and I didn't consider it. And it was absolutely packed with birthday parties. Every single lane was taken up. And, I've never bowled that bad in my entire life. I've always at least hit like 100 or something. I think I ended up with an 89. And what sucked is my brother was dominating.
Yeah.
I got to say he was relatively humble about it, but I could see in his face that he was making fun of me.
Well, I'll tell you what, bowling's always fun.
Yeah, it was a good time.
The kids on the other lanes next to you are breaking 100 and you're not.
Yeah, but they had the things down.
Lots of television programming, I would imagine.
Yeah, I burned through 0 Day with Robert De Niro.
Oh, sure.
I didn't really get it. It was all right. It was kind of boring.
Did you watch Reacher yesterday?
I did.
Yes. Did you
Yeah.
watch all 3 episodes?
I sure did.
It's so good, isn't
Yeah,
it?
It's very good. Boy,
You can
he
already
gets your
tell
shirt
it's-
off a lot.
The first season was amazing. The second, I was a little
Second was
some
cheesy
spots.
as heck at some parts.
But I think this one is going to be great.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Although I did sleep through quite a bit of it last night.
Oh.
Ashley, a couple people.
But what I saw was good.
A couple people are wondering. You mentioned earlier you're putting together a baby registry.
Yep.
Now, explain this to me. So eventually you'll have a baby shower,
Yeah.
and this is where folks can find something or another to buy for you and the baby.
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I had that down. A couple folks are curious, what's the most embarrassing item you've put so far into your baby registry? Because, I mean, I know very, very little about this, but I have heard of products like nipple cream and,
Yeah.
I mean, are there any items in there where you're hoping, boy, I hope just my girlfriends see this, that kind of a thing?
Yeah, it feels really weird putting those intimate things on the registry.
Like a pump?
Well, that doesn't weird me out too much, but there's some like underwear pad style diapers that are on there.
I'm sorry? Underwear?
For you?
Yeah, for me.
Underwear?
Oh, I gotcha.
Yes.
Because once you have a baby, you might pee your pants once in a while?
No,
there's
it's
some other stuff, some red
wound
stuff
care.
that comes out for a while.
Wound care.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, there's some trauma.
Oh, honey, there's so much.
Oh, baby doll.
Dropped it an old honey on him.
Because that's how I feel every time I read something new. I'm like, am I just sacrificing every single inch of my body? Yup, I am.
So a special pair of drawers for you to put on
Yep.
in the weeks afterwards.
I forgot about that whole deal.
And some cooling nipple pads.
Nipple pads, they cool you down.
Yup. I heard my nipples are just going to be destroyed.
Yeah, they're going to hurt.
Super pumped.
I'm so glad that our listeners asked, because this is... you've seen those drawers before?
Yeah, I forgot about that whole thing.
Wound care, he called
Yeah.
it.
You're going to be... your vagina will be in triage for a while. I'm
Yep.
sure
Yep.
you've been told about this.
So, Nick, there are these little bottles that pregnant women or women that have given birth that they get, and it's so that you can splash water up there. So you squeeze the
there.
bottle and you can splash water up there so it gets it nice and clean.
I'll be damned.
But I'm lucky I haven't had to put that on my registry. And I have to thank my fiance for that, because we have a bidet because he's bougie. And so I'll just be able to use that
Just
instead
use
of one
the
of those
bidet
bottles.
instead of the little plastic bottle.
Which is great, because I don't want to open up that in front of my mom. I don't
'cause
know.
They've got like a front faucet on that thing, right?
Yeah, but I don't know if you can change the temperature.
There's so much that I don't know. I mean, I am a guy who's lived in town here for 53 years, and just yesterday was my first trip to the Galleria. There are so many things that I've never experienced or heard of in my life. And here's that boyish wonder again that I was telling you about earlier. This is stuff that I enjoy learning about because it's brand new to me.
I wish there was a way to make like a part of your registry private, where only your
gotta put
girlfriends and the women go.
Put a certain password in.
Maybe that's a group text. Cameraman Jesus mentions the Gabby Petito documentary on Netflix. I did watch that too.
Did you? That seems too tough for me.
I've watched that.
The new one?
I watched that after I went to the hospital there last week or whatever, 2 weeks ago, and I was just lying around for a day or two. I watched that.
Yeah.
I'd never heard of that story before. That was something.
Yeah, watch that. And then I
frustrating.
watched the season 1 or season 2, episode 1 of 1923 came out yesterday. And my God, it was good, but brutal. They show you what you're going to get into this season.
Really?
Oh, man, just some disturbing parts for sure.
This is that Yellowstone marathon.
Yeah, the prequel. Yellowstone prequel.
I think you watched a couple episodes, Nick.
I did. It was terrible.
No, it was good. What's not good is the British lady. She ruins it. Every scene she's in. Luckily, she wasn't in a ton of scenes. She was in a decent amount, but
I thought that. I don't remember if it was 1876 or 1923.
you watched both of them.
It was one of those Yellowstone gimmicks, and I thought the acting was just so awful I couldn't stand it.
Yeah, that chick is pretty annoying.
Yeah, back to Ashley and your current situation. Many years ago, one of my sister's best friends had a baby, and I knew nothing about babies, and I still don't, obviously. But we were all out to eat somewhere. So my sister's friend had given birth, I don't know, 2-3 weeks prior to when we're all sitting at a restaurant somewhere and having a conversation, 6-7 of us, and my sister tried to be subtle about it, but she wasn't as subtle as she wanted to be, and she turned to her friend and said, "Oh, honey, you're leaking."
Oh, I'm not excited for that.
And when I hear that out loud, of course, I got to look,
Yeah.
And I looked over, and my sister's friend, her left boob was just, the shirt she was wearing was just soaked.
It's crazy.
Because something had given way there, right? And I thought to myself, there's something you don't normally see when you're out to lunch with friends and family.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to have extra shirts with me for a while.
Oh, God.
What show was that where they were trying to get a woman's breast to leak? Was it The Office?
Oh, I think so.
Yeah, where Kevin's crying like a baby because it's supposed to cause a woman to lactate.
I don't know.
I'm kind of excited to see if that works.
You're just going to have friends start crying around you and see if it works?
Oh, that's crazy. It's crazy stuff.
Yeah,
people are saying prepare for hemorrhoids as well.
Oh, fuck.
I've heard some women don't get them, though, so maybe I'll be one of those lucky ones.
Well, Dr. P. Jesus will be here in a couple hours, and I know we obviously want to focus on our listeners and their questions for Dr. P, but maybe you can sneak in, give me the top 10. Maybe write this down. Ask Dr. P the top 10 issues that you might have to deal with in the next year of your life. With pregnancy and then the immediate aftermath. Josh said the 2 words that I'll remember all day when he said wound care.
Wound care, yeah. How's your brain? My wife told me there's something called pregnancy brain, and I did notice it.
Oh, I'm
Are you
screwed.
experiencing it?
Yeah.
You are?
Yep, absolutely. I'll randomly forget what a remote is called. And I'm sitting there like, the thing with the TV, the buttons, the thing.
Yeah, because your baby's stealing all your brain power.
It is insane how much like that I was driving somewhere that I've drove hundreds of times, and I just completely missed the exit and even turned around and came back and missed the exit again. And I thought, what is happening?
That's abnormal for you?
Yes. Yeah, it is. It's really frustrating, but crazy at the same time.
Were you told about that too? Like, I had never heard of it until my wife said, hey, she'd say, pregnancy brain when something came up.
Yep. Yeah, my mom warned me about that.
I've heard other women bring it up since.
Yeah.
I get it sometimes, and I'm pretty sure I'm not pregnant every once in a while.
Have you taken a test?
I've been told about various different topics. If you don't test, you don't have it.
Dr. P. Jesus swinging by later, and also around 7:30 we'll chat with Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder. It's a beautiful Monday morning, and we appreciate you being with us. We'll be right back on the 93X Half-Ass Morning Show.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
They got their heads up their ass.
On 93X.
Dana here to tell you all about my new friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. You see, I've been doing apartment living ever since my parents kicked me out back in the day, but now I'm back living in a house. I'm absolutely clueless when it comes to any project. That's where Standard comes into play. They cranked on my furnace to get it really cooking for another cold winter. And think about this. Standard's been doing this for over 95 years. That means at one point, they made sure your great-grandpappy was all nice and warm in his butt-flap jammies. So get in touch with the folks at standardheating.com and make sure you ask about becoming a Smart Club member. That's standardheating.com.
Bombas makes the most comfortable socks, underwear, and T-shirts.
Warning, Bombas are so absurdly comfortable you may throw out all your other clothes.
Sorry, do we legally have to say that?
No, this is just how I talk, and I really love my Bombas.
They do feel that good. And they do good, too. One item purchased equals one item donated.
To feel good and do good, go to bombas.com/listen and use code LISTEN for 20% off your first purchase. That's BOMBAS.com/listen and use code LISTEN at checkout.
The Bigger Pockets Podcast Network is your home. Get it?
Trying to keep it real.
For real estate investing.
We're talking house hacking.
Real estate makes you money in so many ways.
You can buy $1 million house.
These are 4 cities that you can live for free in 2025.
Get real talk from real estate pros about investing strategies that work.
Rich people giving away their secrets, like how they actually make money.
This is my house. This is my house.
I'm home.
Bigger Pockets. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Earlier on, we were busting Ashley's chops for being knocked up. And that, we'll continue that type of treatment all the way up until that little urchin falls smooth out.
Urchin. I like that.
Old guy that I drink with always refers to children as urchins. He's got 6, 7 grandkids, and whenever they come into the bar to visit him, he's always like, oh, here come the urchins. We were talking about leaking, weren't we, Ashley?
Yep.
From every end?
Yeah, everywhere.
All over.
You leak, yeah, once you have
Every hole you got.
Right. Colorado native Jesus would like you to know this. He says your boobs, after you give birth, your boobs will begin leaking even when other babies start crying around you.
Yeah, that's what
I've heard that, yep.
That's what the episode of The Office we were talking about, where Kevin, one of the characters, was crying, hoping to trigger that response.
Oh. Colorado native Jesus says this happened 100% of the time with his wife. Other babies, like at a restaurant, would start crying, and then she would... Here we go.
Oh, geez. You know, I was thinking, though, maybe it's all worth it, of course, to have an adorable little baby, but...
Urchin.
There's, with your boobs especially, it's like, all right, yeah, so I'll probably leak. Nipples are going to hurt. But they've gotten a lot bigger, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I remember that with my wife, too.
I'm having a blast.
My goodness, nobody told me about that.
Yeah, my fiance is pretty geeked, except it's kind of frustrating for him because at this stage, they hurt, so he can't do anything. Yeah.
Just look, I guess.
Everyone goes home a winner.
Yep.
Although you got to be careful, because maybe if he compliments him too much, he could get in some trouble.
Oh, yeah, especially if, because sometimes some women will, especially after breastfeeding, they will lose the size that they've gained. Some women don't, and that will be pretty heartbreaking if I lose the size and I know, like, he wants them bigger. I know he does.
Yeah, it could lead to some trouble.
But I also told him if the baby, because this is his fault, of course, if the baby absolutely destroys my boobs, that he's buying me a pair. Yeah.
It's the right thing to do.
If I can birth your baby, you can buy me some boobs.
Here's a question, Ashley, because we talked about your baby registry. You're putting that together as we speak for your baby shower, and then folks can buy you all kinds of awkward gifts. Are you hoping to get your hands on something called PPTPs?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, dude, I didn't think of that because I'm having a boy.
The TP, yeah.
What is a PPTP?
It's a little like TP looking, like basically a nut cup that you throw over the privates of the young man. as you change them, just so you don't get a shot to the face. You don't want your son golden showering you.
Man, why do you people sign up for this?
It's worth it. It's worth it in the end. I have a friend, and she just had a little boy, and he's peed on his own face a couple times already.
Peeing on his
own face?
Yep.
I saw a guy do that when he was 17 years old. Not on his face, it landed on his chest. That's close enough, isn't it?
Yeah.
Remember that old story, Josh?
No.
When we were juniors in high school, my brother and I and one of our best drinking pals went back to my dad's house after a keg party, and we're all loaded off our ass. And this one buddy of ours was a particularly, well, I don't want to call him a bad drunk, but he was an adventurous drunk. He was the guy that would, throw up in your car if you didn't keep a close eye on him and things like that. Just once he got that Southern comfort in him. He loved Southern comfort when we were teenage kids. All bets were off. So at my dad's old place when we were in high school, he had a pretty good-sized living room with a bunch of couches. And my brother crashed on one couch, I crashed on the floor, and our buddy crashed on another couch. We were all pretty close to each other. And pretty much right after we turned the lights out, I heard water running, and I thought that Buddy was puking. I heard this liquid happening. Turned the light on, and our buddy had his pants and his underwears down around his ankles, D in hand, and he's taking a whiz straight up in the air like a little baby, and it's landing on his chest. And I'll never forget, because I'd never seen anything like that in my life at that point, 17 years old. My brother and I both shot up out of bed, and all I could think to say to our buddy was, "Dude, you're pissing on yourself."
Yeah.
And he put his free hand up to his mouth and went, "Shh." I know.
It's like kind of a weird horror movie a little bit.
Yeah, and then he's walking around the house naked, and we're trying to find him a towel. It was horrible. And he was 17. We've talked up and down on this here radio show about the sleazy, crooked, sometimes hilarious excuses some folks have used to get out of going to work. We've covered that up and down, haven't we, Josh?
Yeah, it's come up over the years for sure. I've mentioned before, I've never done that.
No, you're a straight-laced cat. You never missed a day of school. You've never lied to anybody to get out of work.
I don't know. I'd feel better just saying I don't want to come in. And I've thought that here too. Just it's kind of frustrating when somebody makes up an elaborate lie. I mean, just say, be honest. I don't want to come in. I know that doesn't go over very well,
right.
But to me, it's better than getting caught in a ridiculous lie. I mean, we've seen people being fired for that.
Yeah. You're a good man, and you're correct on all points. Why not just tell the friggin' truth? What do you make of this peckerhead right here? A 29-year-old clown by the name of Barath. He lives in a place called Singapore. He tried to go ahead and forge his grandfather's death certificate to get a couple days off work. And the dumb bastard ended up in court.
Something that ever kept me from saying, yeah, my grandma had a stroke or something like that is because I guess I'm a little superstitious where what if grandma did? And I know it's unrelated, but I would feel I somehow caused that by putting it out there.
Would you be comfortable doing it now? I mean, you just stated that you'd rather always tell the truth, and that's a beautiful thing. But would you be more comfortable now lying about your grandmother's, seeing how they're both dead?
Yeah, so if I say, it's bad news, my grandma died. So I'm not going to be able to come in. Not them, of course, not knowing she died in 2017.
Right. You're not lying.
Yeah.
Your grandmother did die.
Like, have you ever heard somebody say, I survived the war? Or they say something where they make it seem as if they were on the front lines. They just mean they were alive during that time.
I had a friend growing up, and whenever some drama would go on and she wanted to play victim, she would tell people that either her father or her grandmother passed away.
So she was willy-nilly with that I guess, lie, with those lies, with no fear of of what word did you use a minute ago? Was it karma or?
Yeah, it's some sort. Yeah, sure, karma.
Sure.
Yeah.
She had no fear of that.
Nope, and she would do it multiple times, and they're both still alive to this day. It's so odd.
Yeah, so she doesn't fear. She doesn't fear that curse that
No.
if you speak it, it might happen.
It got to the point where some girls were like, "No, she's not. Your grandma is not dead. I
Right.
just saw her like 3 days ago."
Saw her the other day.
Bar Saw Jesus wants to know if it was the grandma with the incredible rack. Yes, that's the one that passed away in 2017.
Knew that was coming.
Yeah.
She let her buck all the way to 20 add 17, huh?
Yeah. Could it? Maybe it was even. Yeah, it was about 2017.
So here's this guy.
Because unfortunately for her, she made it longer than 3 of her kids.
Well, that's
Nobody
a
wants that.
dark twist.
Yeah, including my dad.
Dark twist to the story. Sorry to hear all that. Dude forged his grandfather's death certificate to try and get a couple days off work. And now he's stuck with a fine. He was fined in court for forging a relative's death certificate with the intention to commit fraud ski. So here's the deal. This disaster started, interestingly enough, when Barath, our main character here, when he found out that his girlfriend was getting folded on the side. And the word is here, Barath was so devastated when he found out that his lady was taken side rod that he couldn't bring himself to go to work. Stupid Barath, he had options. Why he didn't go a different route with this, I don't know. Instead of taking advantage of company-approved days off, I believe they had mental health days, written into the company policy. Instead of just going that route, he asked for 3 bereavement days, and he told the boss that his grandpa had died in his sleep.
Wonder if he's just embarrassed to say, "Hey, I got dumped. I can't come into work." Because I would assume I'm going to get some crap.
Yeah, you would.
I know it can be devastating to lose a relation, especially if you saw it going a lot further than it did. But I might at least consider, there's got to be another way I can get out. Or just maybe go start licking doorknobs or something like that and hope I come down with something.
You're probably right. He was probably embarrassed. Now, when he told his boss, "Look, my grandpa died. I need 3 days off," his boss was cool with that. But this must be a pretty strict operation that Barath works for, because the boss said, "Sure, you can have those 3 days off, but I'm going to need to see your dead grandfather's death certificate."
That's weird right there.
Maybe Barath had a background of BS, you know what I mean? He had lied.
must have.
He'd been caught lying.
Or other people ruined it, one of the two.
But anyway. Now, also, Barath could have just fessed up right there and admitted that his grandpa hadn't checked out and he just wanted some days off because his girlfriend was a whore. But he didn't. He spent the next few days trying to wrangle up a believable death certificate, and he did, but it was poorly put together. The boss could tell it was a fugazi. Barath quit his job knowing he was about to be canned. And the next thing you know, he's in court looking like a friggin' jackass. What a damn mess.
That sucks.
Says here in Singapore, forging a death certificate can get you up to 10 years in prison.
Whoa.
So getting fined by his former employer, how do you say it, employer, getting just a fine was a lucky break for the guy. If he just would have been honest, like Josh said, "Look, my girlfriend's taking some rod on the side, and it's got me down. It's given me a case of the blues." If he just would have been honest. This here next story goes along with something else we've talked about recently. Throwing away our old porn. A lot of us are afraid to throw away our old porno DVDs and magazines because we're afraid our neighborhood garbage man will judge us. Hell, sex dolls? Nobody's got the balls to just toss their sex dolls in the trash, so they dump them on the beach or out in the woods, and then some old-timer thinks it's a dead, naked body, and they call the effing paramedics. It's a problem. It's a problem. It hasn't been too long since we talked about this. Why are we so afraid to throw away our old porno movies and DVDs and magazines and rubber F-dolls?
We get plenty of texts from garbage men who say that that's kind of fun for them.
It's a perk.
Yeah, they're not going, the sinner that lives in this home.
Absolutely.
They think it's funny.
Yeah, they have a good time. Apparently, for many years in Japan, they've had a gimmick that we should have utilized here in the States. They've had anonymous drop-off bins on the street, Summers, where you could dump your old porn movies. And once or twice a week, the hardcore porno garbage man would swing by, put all that porno into a bag, and throw it away for you, or recycle it or whatever.
I thought we had that here where if you have unwanted porn, you drop it off at a fire department. Or am I mixing that up with something else?
This particular story talks about how everybody gets their sick, twisted urine porn and whatnot off the internet these days, so there's no need for the hardcore porno garbage man to stop by those bins anymore to empty them out, which is a sad story. Pardon me?
It's a lost art.
It's just, now the hardcore porno garbage man is out of a job.
Yes.
Says here, the idea of the porn bins came about in Japan to keep the young kids in town from seeing strap-on attack magazines and double bukkake DVD movies littered all over the sidewalk or laying around their dad's garage. They came up with these porn bins to try to keep the young kids away from the hard stuff.
Is there any romance novels or erotic novels in those little libraries you might see around the neighborhood?
Oh, that's a good
I've
question.
never seen them before.
You've never seen those types of books or the little library?
Those type of books.
I've never opened one of those little libraries.
I always like to
I
peek
always
in.
do, yeah.
They're books you'd expect to be in a bin like that usually.
I've taken a book before and then returned it. I used to be a good child at some point.
Are you talking about those little, it looks like
like an old newsstand kind of.
Or like, for some reason, they're usually like little houses.
Yeah, they look like bigger birdhouses.
And some of them are decorated quite adorably.
I've driven by a few of them, never cracked one open. So there's still some porn being dropped off in these bins. Some. This sounds like a lot to me.
I was at a bookstore the other day and they still had nudie mags.
Oh.
I was kind of surprised.
Did you get a couple?
No, it's not really my thing.
Really? At a bookstore?
Yeah, they had. I mean, because I remember that's when we go to. I'd be looking at like Guitar Player magazine or Circus magazine or Hit Parader, and then I'd always try and see if I could find those too, just the blacked out versions.
Tiger Beat 16.
Nah, I wasn't into those.
Did they have like the black cover over it?
Yeah. Oh, of course they did.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting to me because I don't even see porno mags at the gas station anymore, and I haven't for years. So there are still some porn items being dropped off into these Japanese porn bins. On a recent visit, the hardcore porno garbage man collected 16 crusty magazines and 81 DVDs. But now, like I said a minute ago, the avalanche, this is how they put it in the story, the avalanche of digital pornography available on smartphones is rendering the used porno bins obsolete.
Ramtucky Sheeza said she saw 50 Shades of Grey in one of those little libraries. So you get like Clifford the Big Red Dog for the kid and 50 Shades of Grey for mom.
No way.
Everybody
2 for 1.
Yeah, everybody wins.
Now, this surprised me. The first worn-out porno bin was put into place in Japan in the year 1963. 63, because of what they call here the post-war explosion of pornographic books and magazines. I've read a lot about World War II and watched every documentary you can imagine. Never heard of the post-war pornographic book and magazine explosion. 1963. They say most men would dump their porn under cover of darkness to avoid being spotted by friends or family.
I'd probably do that as well, I would think.
Convenience stores in Japan, like around here, aren't selling the good stuff anymore. The porn vending machines we always heard about in Japan are being weeded out. Japan is becoming boring.
Well, I suppose, you can just, like they're saying, look at your phone. I wonder if the magazines are blurred out, like you guys have said, the Japanese porn. Is it Japanese or Chinese porn?
Japanese.
Japanese porn's all blurred out.
Probably the magazines are probably the same, which is a real drag.
What's the point, really?
Yeah, I never known.
You sounded like an old car that was having trouble starting right there, middle of winter.
I don't know, Josh. Japanese porno has always been disappointing. All right, anyone ever said to you, what do you got, half a brain?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
What, are you working on only half a brain? Sure. Here's a guy, 44-year-old fella from French. Doctors just found out that he's been living on half a brain. He didn't know it either. Living on half a brain.
What? That's insane.
It is. It's not the most exciting story in the world, but it's definitely interesting. He went on into the doctor's office because he had some leg pain, leg weakness. Doctors were concerned it could be a neurological condition, so they checked the pimp's skull. And he only had half a brain in there. What the hell did I just write down here? The one thing he had. Oh, okay, I got it. So the French guy with half a brain, they were trying to find out, well, the doctors were trying to find out, have you ever had any brain problems in the past? How old did I say he was? 44 years old. Doctors asked him, you ever had any brain troubles? He said he had a shunt surgery when he was 6 months old. Now, in case you don't know what that is, and I never... That involves implanting a tube into the brain to drain away excess fluid. And that shunt was in his brain for 14 years. He was 14 years old when they took it out.
Did it also drain out the other half of his brain?
I think I can explain it to you. I think I can. So 30 years ago, he has the shunt removed from his skull that was dripping brain fluid out. When doctors looked into this guy's noggin, there was a huge pocket of fluid where his brain was supposed to be. So this is what I understand, if you can follow this. Back when he had that shunt in there, the drainage tubes in his brain had narrowed, causing a buildup of fluid to accumulate over the decades. This caused what was left of his brain to be squeezed into a corner of his effing skull.
Oh, gosh. How does he not have, migraines?
He probably does.
It was all fluid up in there and just a little bit of brains. I don't even know what I'm talking about.
That is crazy.
That surprised the hell out of the doctors.
Don't see that one every day.
The new guy didn't handle it well.
Oh, no.
But here's the thing. They dumped some psychological tests on the effing guy with half a brain.
Yeah.
And he did all right. They said he was, quote, at the lower end of normal. Hell, I've been living with that my whole life as well. The lower end of normal.
That would be kind of fun if we worked with somebody that had that going on and just test ourselves against it. I would be nervous about the results.
Half-brain guy has had a mostly normal run so far in life. He's got a wife and a job and a kid or two. So they cut him loose and told him he was on his own. But they were, this is something they'll be talking about till the day that they die, these doctors. They had a patient come in, some bitch only got half a brain. The other half is all urine, fluid, I don't know, whatever.
Hopefully when he eventually passes away, he donates his body to science, because that's cool.
Well, you can ask him about it, Ashley, because I understand he's coming to the State Fair Midway this summer.
Dude, stop. That would actually be really cool to
the
talk
man
to
with
him.
half a brain. He's going to be over there by Snake Lady and...
the Spider Lady.
I'd be all over that.
The Brotherhood's international porn expert, Gamer Jesus, has checked in on Japanese porn. He said Japanese porn is censored due to laws requiring all porn to be censored, regardless of where it's filmed or photos taken. So even an American Playboy looks like someone took a permanent marker to the genitalia.
Oh, what a waste.
And oh, geez, Jesus, I couldn't remember if it was Japanese or Chinese porn that they blurted out. He said in Japanese porn, the genitals are pixelated, but in Chinese porn, everything but the genitals are pixelated.
That'll be something to see. All right, do any of you ever get any leg pain? Your legs hurt and you don't know why?
Every once in a while.
Sometimes.
All right, just so you know, it's probably nothing. But it could be slug parasites eating away at your flesh and your blood from under your skin as they slowly migrate to your brain to kill you.
God, I was worried about this.
If, in fact, you have leg pain, mysterious leg pain, Josh, now and again, it probably nothing, but it could be parasites eating and drinking the insides of your body. This happened to a 30-year-old lady. She had a funny sensation in her feet. Over the next 2 days, the pain crept up her legs. Over-the-counter pain medicine didn't do jack squat. The pain went on up into her chest and then her arms. She could hear a slithering sound when she tried to sleep.
Nah. Nope. Mm-mm.
Then she got a fat-ass headache. Back and forth, she went to the doctor's office. They couldn't figure it out. Finally, a doctor found out that her problems were all due to worms burrowing into her brain pan. By this point, the gal had gone about 3/4 nuts. She couldn't make any sense when talking. She couldn't follow commands. She couldn't follow simple commands. I don't know why I find that hilarious, but that part grabbed me for some reason, Josh.
Well, it bothers me just because I've got a 13-year-old that's in the same boat.
No.
Kid can't follow one command.
Here's what, when the doctor said, do you realize you got an army of worms in your brain and it's eating all of your... And she said, no, I didn't know. And they said, has anything been going on in your life that's a little different? She said, no, I can't think of... Oh, I did just get back from Thailand and Tokyo and Japan and Hawaii, where all I ate was sushi, she said.
That's why I don't eat sushi.
I'm with you, Ashley. Well, that and I think it's disgusting. But
Same.
yeah, I don't want to get the parasites and whatnot some people get.
As soon as she said sushi, the doctor said, oh, it's got to be parasites.
That's like the first thing they ask you. Before you even go in the room, the front desk lady is like, all right, have you been anywhere lately?
Right.
That's true. They do always ask that.
So specifically, what was slithering around her insides was an adorable-sounding parasite called the rat lungworm.
Oh, that's a great name.
Which, in certain parts of the world, if you find a big fat live rat lungworm, you crack it in half and you squeeze the insides out on top of a salad.
Oh, dude,
Yummy.
I'm going to vomit.
But you need about 20 or 30 of them to get enough dressing onto this. No, they don't put them on the salad. I'm trying to cut to the chase here for you. This goes on and on. I'll try to explain how this works. That damn rat lungworm, it lives in slugs and rats. And they talk about rat feces, and the slug does this and that, and then the rat eats the slug, and then the rat licks the sushi, or the rat poops on the sushi, and then we eat the sushi. And then the lungworm swims around our insides.
Oh.
But the gal lived, but she can't remember who the hell she is.
The fact that she could hear it. Oh, no, I don't want to hear it.
You know what you should hear?
What?
Mr. Big Raw Like Sushi. Great live album from 1990.
Well, yeah, that's where we got that incredible intro that we kept playing leading up to their show last winter, Blame It On My Youth. We got to play it.
Did they play that at the concert?
They did not play Blame It On My Youth.
Okay, then I haven't heard it then.
Well, no, we played it all the time on the show here leading up to the where it's like rippity-dip with the drums, and then the guitar goes wow, and then the voice says, hey, please welcome Mr. Big. And then and he screams, and they kick it. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, well, I got to hear it now.
Yeah, she's got to hear it.
You just did hear it.
Josh.
You got me up over there?
Yeah.
Oh, God, now I'm going to get the chills and start to cry, for Christ's sake.
You do?
Yes.
Oh,
well, we can't hear anything over here.
Huh.
I'm going to get the chills, and I'm going to start to cry. And I'm not having a baby. Ashley's having a baby. But I'm emotional.
I cry a lot.
Yeah. And have you been crying a lot?
Yeah.
What makes you cry now?
Weird
Every
things.
damn thing?
Stupid songs. I cried at Monster Jam.
Why did you cry at Monster Jam, Ashley? You're becoming so emotional.
I have no idea.
Was it the national anthem?
No, it was just as soon as the truck started.
Yeah.
I just got emotional. I have no idea why.
And you would never
excited.
Yeah, like my throat, like I started getting choked up. My eyes were welling up with tears. It was so weird.
And that would never normally happen?
Nope.
Josh,
I thought maybe you saw a kid or something there, and that kind of made you think like a young mother or something, and made you think of yourself in
nope.
Like a year from now.
Josh, are you still crying when you watch television commercials?
Oh, constantly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, shows.
Yeah.
Constantly.
Yeah.
I get it.
It's weird. Like, or if somebody gets like revenge. Let's say their kid gets kidnapped or something, and they get the kid and they get revenge on the person. Just that, I don't know.
Oh, sure.
Release or whatever.
Man.
Yeah, it's been getting.
You folks are a mess, I'll tell you.
Falling apart.
That's a beautiful thing.
Actually, real quick, somebody said they were listening to the podcast, just found out you're pregnant. Wants to know, are you off the market? Because that's not a deal breaker for them.
Yes, I am. I'll let you know if that changes, though.
I'll be dipped.
Sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Puck is dropped, and it's 4-0. In the opening period, and Razor just took another one, and that was a rocket.
Yeah, I got a couple there in the eyebrow, a couple little stitches. But
all right, so where did it hit first, or is that all in one motion?
Right where the golf ball is, right here.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not normal.
Buffalo Sabres rinkside announcer Rob Ray, former all-time great NHL cement head. Ray, now he spends his nights covering the Sabres from the penalty box with the mic in his yap. He took a puck to the cake the other day while he was mic'd up, and he had to cuss.
You can't blame a guy for that.
Hit him right in the brain.
The uncensored audio is so great. He nails that F-bomb.
He sure does. It's grating. I felt like I took a puck to the face.
Yes.
But it wasn't a puck. It was a different beginning to that word.
He's great at what he does, Rob Ray. Hangs out there in the penalty box or the timekeeper's box, whatever, right there on the ice for the most part. And they check in with him from time to time. That's really entertaining stuff. And he knows he knows the game, obviously played many years in the NHL. But the toughest part of watching that coverage is how the other announcers will not stop calling him Razor. Just call him Rob one time. It just grates at me. Okay, we get it. His nickname is Ray. It drives me crazy, John.
Yeah, I'm with you. Is it Kevin Harlan and Tom Brady that are hooked up? Or who's with Tom Brady calling football games?
I don't know.
Who's his partner?
Oh,
I don't follow it.
Anyways, and then Aaron Andrews. They all use initials for each other. You know what I'm saying, NB?
Oh, yeah,
you
sure.
Follow me there?
I have noticed that also.
DW, have you heard that before?
Now that you pointed it out, I do think I remember hearing that.
AW, you've heard it?
I've heard it.
Yeah, it drives me nuts.
If you're a younger person and you don't know Rob Ray during his time with the Buffalo Sabres, go on YouTube and look up the beautiful, magical night where a drunk Quebec Nordiques fan jumped onto the ice and walked over to the Buffalo Sabres bench to challenge all of them to a fight.
No way.
This is why I always go on and on about hockey in the 70s and 80s and 90s, is because this stuff would happen. And Rob Ray was more than happy to oblige this French-Canadian drunk and pounded this guy's brains into dust, which is why he's a living legend to this day. The Wolves lost a couple in a row now coming out the All-Star break. They lost by 7 at home last night to the top club in the West, the Oklahoma City Thunders. We'll tell you all about that later. Real rip-off here, if you ask me, starting that game at 8:45 on a Sunday night.
Ew.
But what can you do? That's how the NBA treats us around here. And coming up at 7:30, Randy Shaver, Brad Ryder. And I hate to say this, and we'll get into detail on this later. I no longer like Shaquille O'Neal. I can't like Shaquille O'Neal anymore after what I learned about him yesterday.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
It sucks.
He's such a funny guy, but then I guess he has his weaknesses, and this is disgusting.
This is not funny.
I don't find it funny either.
And it's disgusting, and I no longer can like Shaquille O'Neal. And I've liked him, not his whole career, but certainly since he retired, I've really loved watching what he does on television, but I hate him now. And you'll find out why at 7:30. Josh's news is coming up next.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
They got their heads up their ass.
On 93X.
Dana here to tell you all about my new friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. You see, I've been doing apartment living ever since my parents kicked me out back in the day, but now I'm back living in a house. I'm absolutely clueless when it comes to any project. That's where Standard comes into play. They cranked on my furnace to get it really cooking for another cold winter. And think about this. Standard's been doing this for over 95 years. That means at one point, they made sure your great-grandpappy was all nice and warm in his butt-flap jammies. So get in touch with the folks at standardheating.com and make sure you ask about becoming a Smart Club member. That's standardheating.com.
Bombas makes the most comfortable socks, underwear, and T-shirts.
Warning, Bombas are so absurdly comfortable you may throw out all your other clothes.
Sorry, do we legally have to say that?
No, this is just how I talk, and I really love my Bombas.
They do feel that good. And they do good, too. One item purchased equals one item donated.
To feel good and do good, go to bombas.com/listen and use code LISTEN for 20% off your first purchase. That's BOMBAS.com/listen and use code LISTEN at checkout.
No one knows music like Rolling Stone. Senior writer Brian Hyatt talks the biggest music news from the biggest stars.
Almost everyone is teaming up on Drake. It's like Drake versus the world.
Yeah.
You first met Prince, you were driving for him before you were drumming for him.
That's correct.
Stevie Wonder!
You kind of have to understand how Stevie began. White radio. That's where the money was. That's where it still is. You know what I'm saying?
Rolling Stone Music Now. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Half-Assed Morning Show. 93X.
We believe Phelps kidnapped one of these victims by heavily sedating him and pushing him across the U.S.-Mexico border in a wheelchair due to his inebriated state. Phelps then took him to a hotel room in Mexico City where the victim was found dead a few hours later.
Federal authorities nabbed a serial seductress who fled to Mexico after drugging and robbing several elderly men in a 3-year stint in Las Vegas, a scamming spree that turned deadly. Mexican authorities arrested 43-year-old Aurora Phelps, accused of using dating apps to seduce, drug, and steal the identities of men for at least 3 years. She fleeced her victims for hundreds or thousands of dollars and is linked to 3 of their deaths. Spencer Evans, special agent in charge of the FBI's Las Vegas division, called it a romance scam on steroids.
This is a romance scam on steroids. You have not seen one like this in recent history that's as nefarious, as sinister, and certainly has as much of a tragic result as some of the others that we see.
Phelps, whose criminal aliases included Flores, Velasco, and Alvarez, targeted men in their 60s and 70s, but also duped younger victims and occasionally women.
Once she incapacitated her victims, Phelps stole their cars, accessed their bank and brokerage accounts to withdraw cash, used their credit cards to make a variety of purchases, including luxury retail goods and gold, and even attempted to access their Social Security and retirement accounts.
Dude, jeez.
Yeah, she's evil. One victim awoke from a coma after Phelps gave him prescription sedatives over the course of a week. "I'm looking for friends. No fake people," the voluptuous vixen advertised on her Tinder profile under the name Sissy, a devastating moniker that's followed me since middle school.
Oh!
Despite identifying several victims, authorities believe they've only scratched the surface of Phelps' scamming spree. So the FBI posted photos on its website along with a call for more victims to come forward.
And 3 people ended up dead because.
Yeah.
And how did they go? Drug?
Because she didn't know how to administer the drugs correctly. Yeah,
OD'd their asses.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty cold, Josh.
A 40-year-old
That nickname, I mean.
Sissy?
Yeah.
Yeah, it still hurts.
Good.
Still hurts. I'm trying to own it by using it, but it still hurts.
No, I understand.
A 40-year-old Frenchman is making an unusual offer to the 2 thieves who unknowingly made him a lottery winner. He's hoping that they come forward so he can split the $540,000 jackpot with the thieves. "Without me, they wouldn't have won. But without them, I wouldn't have bought the ticket. I want to share the winnings," he said. The man realized his backpack with his wallet inside had been stolen from his car February 3rd. By the time he called his bank to freeze the credit card, it had already been used for a purchase at a convenience store. Curious, he went to the store to ask if anyone had seen anything, or if maybe, by some miracle, his belongings had been left behind. And that's when the cashier dropped a bombshell. 2 men had used his card to buy cigarettes and several scratch-off tickets. Then, right there in the store, they discovered they won $500,000.
F me.
But something felt off. The cashier found their behavior suspicious, especially when the Frenchmen struggled to enter the PIN for one of the cards they tried to use. Uncharacteristically, the Frenchman refused to surrender. After hearing the cashier's story, the victim went straight to the police, who then contacted the lottery operator to freeze those winnings.
Unjust enrichment requires a party to make restitution if they've been enriched at the other party's expense. And I can see a judge going, yes, the payment of the ticket was the other party's expense, and they've been enriched.
If these thieves try to claim the French lottery prize, they could be toast. But the victim isn't looking for revenge. In fact, his lawyer floated an interesting solution. My client isn't pressing charges. He's actually grateful his card was stolen under these circumstances. This could be a life-changing opportunity for these two men as well, the lawyer said. The victim himself put it simply: unless they contact my lawyer, the ticket is worthless, so why not split it 50-50? He's already made plans for his half of the winnings. For that kind of money, I'm willing to make a deal, he said, explaining that his cut would help him pay off his mortgage. So far, no one stepped forward to claim the prize, but at least for now, France's national lottery operator has blocked that ticket.
There's no way he's really going to split the ticket with these friggin' $500,000.
No.
This is that's all a ploy to get them to turn themselves in, right?
Could be, yeah.
No way they're getting half that money.
Yeah, I wonder if they'll even let him get it if they come forward.
But until they come forward, he can't get a dime of it, can he?
Nobody can use. That's what he's saying. Hey, nobody can use this thing unless you guys come forward. So
what a friggin' position that dude's in. I'd be bloodthirsty.
From a man trying to turn his misfortune into a jackpot sharing opportunity to another gambler whose luck ran out just when he needed it most, some wins are too good to be true. Like a 46-year-old Pennsylvania man who hit a once-in-a-lifetime jackpot only to learn he couldn't collect it, and it was his own fault. February 15th, around 4 p.m., he was playing at Parks Casino when his luck was on his side. He hit a massive jackpot, but the problem was he wasn't supposed to be there in the first place, which was his call. According to Pennsylvania State Police, he had previously banned himself for life from gambling in the state. Pennsylvania's self-exclusion program allows people struggling with a problem with gambling to voluntarily remove themselves from placing bets, whether in casinos, online, or through fantasy sports and gaming terminals. Those bans can be temporary or permanent, and in his case, he had chosen the latter.
It is enforced if they enter a casino while on the list, with penalties and also forfeiture of all winnings achieved during the visit.
Because of that lifetime ban, he wasn't eligible to claim his winnings, and instead of cashing out, they cited him for trespass.
Oh, man. And how much did he have? How much had he won?
$57,000.
F&A.
That's some life-changing money.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, the casino didn't ban him. He just said, I've got a problem. I need some help. So I need some punishment if I show up. Lately, there's been no shortage of bad news about air travel, unfortunately, but nothing quite compares to the sight of your pilot being arrested just before takeoff. But that's exactly what happened on an international flight out of Massachusetts last week. A 33-year-old JetBlue pilot was yanked off his own plane moments before takeoff after authorities discovered he was wanted on a child sex charge. Yucky.
What the hell?
The Ohio man was about to fly from Boston to Paris late Thursday when Customs and Border Protection flagged his name during a routine check of the flight manifest. Moments later, police moved in and arrested him at Logan International. The warrant out of North Carolina was for second-degree sexual exploitation of a minor, though details of that case remain unclear. JetBlue quickly responded, placing the pilot on indefinite leave.
Ugh, gross.
A now former Maple Grove Elementary School teacher has been accused of inappropriately touching students. The 63-year-old is charged with 4 counts of fifth-degree criminal sexual conduct related to his past work as a fifth-grade teacher at Basswood Elementary School. Multiple complaints came in about the Maplewood man fondling girls in his class during the 2022-23 school year. One student said she was spanked multiple times. Others accused the teacher of inappropriately touching them in the same area as well. Some accusations included students sitting on the perverted professor's lap, him touching the inside of their waistband, touching students' waists, lifting students in the air, squeezing students' shoulders, touching their lower back, standing too close, demanding a kiss in exchange for candy, asking a student to rub or scratch his back, and whistling or commenting on students' skirts.
Dude, stop touching the children.
This guy's a little warped.
Well, and this is weird. They didn't detail every single aspect of it, but they did learn, authorities, through the investigation, the teacher had already received 2 verbal warnings for touching students, but somehow remained in the classroom.
I don't think those should be warnings. I don't think you should get warnings for that. It's either, hey, you touched a kid, you're done.
I'm with you on that.
What?
All that is very creepy behavior.
Hey, don't do it again. Oh, you did it again. Well, don't do it a third time.
Yeah, we really mean it after this.
God dang it, I did it again, didn't I?
We only let you touch so many kids in the school before there's some real punishment.
I didn't even know I did it again, but I did it again.
Thank goodness it's that 3-strike policy.
Right.
A 42-year-old high school math teacher in California is under investigation after students accused him of trying to sell them pills he claimed would boost their academic performance. That's a decent scam. The teacher reportedly even gave students dosage instructions, and when they began asking what was actually in the pills, the teacher was evasive, saying, "It's a secret." Here's a mom of one of the students.
And I'm getting these messages from my daughter that her teacher is selling drugs in classroom to enhance homework and test performance. And I thought maybe she's taking it out of context. This is appalling. There's no way a teacher's doing this.
The students say the teacher pulled out a plastic baggie full of white pills from his briefcase that he called test-enhancing pills.
To put that onto teenagers who are still learning, their brains are still developing, and you're normalizing drug use within a classroom in the middle of a fentanyl crisis. It's absurd. The lack of judgment to me is astounding.
The Salinas High School principal sent a letter to families assuring them the school is taking the matter seriously, and the teacher has been placed on leave as police investigate.
I always take pills first and then ask questions later.
Me too, especially, if they're reasonably priced from a trusted adult.
Yeah, I want to know what she was selling them for.
Well, what was she selling?
They don't know.
They don't know.
It's a secret.
Yeah, it's a secret.
Yeah.
All right.
You'll never pop it to find out.
An 11-year-old boy in St. Paul accidentally shot himself in the finger while recording a cell phone video Thursday night. But perhaps afraid to get in trouble with his parents, police, or both, when officers arrived, he told a very different story. At first, he claimed an unknown gunman followed him home from a rec center and fired 6 shots at him. He said he kept walking more than half a mile to the family's home before calling 911. But officers weren't buying it. Something about the story didn't add up. Medics took the boy to the hospital, and as investigators dug deeper, the truth came out. He shot himself. No one else was in the home when it happened. A search led police to 2 handguns inside the house, and now they're working to figure out just who owns them.
Oh, that's embarrassing.
Yeah, he's making like what he thought was a cool social media video, blows his own finger off. A 22-year-old South Boston man picked the wrong person to challenge, harassing a police officer in a bizarre and aggressive encounter which ended in his arrest. Around 6:46 p.m. February 13th, the officer was crossing the street toward a 7-Eleven. Out of nowhere, the man started hurling profanities, closing the distance as he berated the officer and following him into the store. Trailing the cop across the street, he got right in his face, just a foot away, taunting him with a defiant, "Do something." The officer, keeping his cool, extended an arm and ordered him to back off. Instead, the man followed him inside the 7-Eleven, closing in to just 6 inches from his face and shouting at him to buy him some food. Things escalated at the register, where he brazenly poked the officer in the back, still challenging him to a fight. Even after the officer called for backup, the suspect doubled down, jabbing at the officer's badge and letting out another string of expletives. Outside, he took a fighting stance, ready to throw down. That didn't go well. After a brief struggle, they took him into custody, where police discovered he was carrying 9 small plastic baggies containing fentanyl.
This guy just wanted to go to jail, didn't he?
It must, yeah.
Well, he's a proven tough guy. He has a pending case against him for assaulting an elderly person who's also disabled.
Oh! You're right. He's not to be effed with, that guy.
Hey, I took out a really, really old person who can't fight back.
Good for that cop for having the strength he had, the composure in the beginning, because if somebody was saying, "Do something to me," I would probably do something to them.
Yeah, you'd just be like, well, gosh, do I do the taser and baton? Which do I do? What order should I go? Now, here's a guy that can't learn a lesson. The Thurston County, Washington Sheriff's Office arrested the same man for DUI 2 nights in a row after he crashed the same car at the same intersection at the exact same time. February 16th, 9:47 p.m., deputies responded to a crash in Olympia. A woman called 911 saying a man slammed into her parked car and seemed drunk. When cops arrived, he blew a staggering .3 on a breathalyzer, nearly 4 times the legal limit. He was arrested, booked into jail, and released the next day. Then it was drunken deja vu. Exactly 24 hours later, once more at 9:47 p.m., it happened again. Same intersection, same man, but this time plowing into a yard and hitting a tree stump. Deputies showed up, and like a scene out of the movie Groundhog Day, he was once again well over the legal limit, blowing a .3, not just Hawk 1-a, but Hawk 2-a times. For the second night in a row, he was taken to jail, but this time the bail was set far higher, hopefully preventing a hillbilly hat trick, breaking the cycle before night 3.
Did he do that on purpose?
I don't know, just time it out that way?
Did he time it out?
I don't know. Or he just likes to drink at the same time?
It's fascinating.
Yeah, that is really weird. He had the same blood alcohol content, exact same intersection, exact same time of night.
It's a wicked case of deja vu.
This guy's a miracle.
A 23-year-old New Hampshire woman found herself in quite the predicament as she was arrested Friday, accused of repeatedly urinating on products in local stores. Pissed off police say Kelly Tedford posted disturbing online videos of her peeing on products for years.
What is her deal?
Oh, my gosh.
In a recent video, she recorded herself relieving herself on grocery stores, causing over $1,500 in losses from ruined merchandise and cleanup costs. Police believe it wasn't just a number one-off accident, saying similar incidents happened in surrounding areas, with video suggesting her behavior had been flowing for years, based on several videos trickling out since at least 2021.
Did she make any statements in these videos as to what inspired her to behave this way?
Not that the article mentioned. Police say the investigation is ongoing and more charges could be added. It's not like she's incontinent. I mean, she just chooses to go on certain things.
Right. Imagine you're her boyfriend. That'd be the most embarrassing thing in the entire world, if you ask me.
Footage from witness cell phones captured a daring escape from a South African courthouse where a suspected burglar managed to slip out of a window and scale down the 3-story building before making a run. The 26-year-old low-budget Spider-Man took a life-threatening gamble Tuesday in Johannesburg, where he was facing charges of theft and breaking and entering. Instead of sticking around for his fate, he saw an opportunity and took it, squeezing through a tiny window, clinging to the side of the courthouse and inching his way down before finally leaping to the ground and bolting into a nearby neighborhood. The entire escape was caught on camera by stunned onlookers, and within hours, the footage had gone viral, with some calling his death-defying stunt Tom Cruise-like, while others called it stupid. And stupid may have been the better way to describe it, as his taste of freedom didn't last long. Authorities tracked him down the next day. In a video filmed while seemingly cuffed in the back of a car, he recounted his escape with a bit of pride. "I saw those small windows I came out of. I see the steps, the long steps, when the judge called me. No one was there," he said. He also claimed officers were too busy chatting with lawyers to notice him making his not-so-great escape. Now, instead of just facing those theft charges, he's been hit with additional charges for escape.
The video's up on 93x.com, too.
He's good, huh?
It's a really funny video.
It is pretty funny.
What are you doing, dude?
I don't know. I don't know how you think you're going to get away, but I guess he gave it a shot. He had one more day of freedom, but now he's in a lot worse trouble. Congratulations to tool-slinging Jesus and his wife. They just learned they'll be adding to the brother or sisterhood soon. That's awesome. Shout out to Denver Jesus. Let's ride from Mosh Crusher Jesus. Happy birthday to Samantha and Nicole from John Cougar Wapple Camp Jesus. Happy 72nd to Judy, a new listener to the show, thanks to her son pours chocolate milk over cereal Jesus.
We got Judy into the mix now?
Yeah, she's a new listener. Welcome to the sisterhood. Happy birthday to Principal Dude Jesus, formerly Bandman Jesus from your smoking hot wife. And happy 56 to Alex P. Keaton bobblehead Jeebus. And that's 93X News.
Randy Shaver.
He likes going into the manholes.
On the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Out in front. On net score! Polito ties the game! Empty net conversion! Empty net conversion by Minnesota with 1:31 remaining.
So the bastard scored another goal without a goalie between the pipes over the weekend against the Red Wings?
He promised he was going to do some more.
Oh, see, I got lied to at the bar Saturday night. I was shooting pocket billiards with some friends, and someone said, "Hey, your bro got on the board for the Pigs." I didn't see the game Saturday afternoon, the first wild game coming off the All-Star break or whatever the hell they called it. And I said, "Was there a goalie in there?" And they said, "Yes." So he scored another empty netter.
Empty netter.
No, the Wild pulled their goalie.
Say again?
The Wild had pulled their goalie. It was a 6-on-5 thing.
Oh.
So
That's a little
did Foligno score a goal with the goalie in net or not?
Yes, he did.
Why'd they call it an empty netter?
But they was referring to the Wild's goal being empty. Because it was the third period, with like a minute left. They needed to get a goal to tie.
Now, that would be funny if he scored on his own goal just to set the record.
That would be
So then I wasn't lied to Saturday night at the bar.
No.
The bastard finally scored one with a goalie in net.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
But that's not what we want.
we didn't ask for that.
No, we don't need legitimate
tell him
goals.
Don't do that.
Yeah, we need empty net goals. If you missed this, we were talking with Marcus Foligno last week, busting his chops about all the sissy-ass empty net goals that he scored. And then we realized he could be in line to set the all-time record this year, where he would, I think, is it 9 empty net goals in a year? 10, 11? What was it?
9 is the record.
9. Yeah.
9 is the record. He's on, 5 now, maybe?
I think 4.
I thought it was
4?
Yep.
Okay. And the characters who hold the record, it's Ovechkin and Pavel Bure. So he'd be right up there with some all-time greats. All right. Sorry for the confusion.
Well, I mean, it's an empty net goal. Well, no, it's not an empty net goal.
Yeah, the announcers had their head up their ass. Good for Marcus Foligno. Get that record. Hi, Randy Shaver. Hi, Brad Ryder.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, Randy, did you have an incredible weekend? Randy, were you in Atlanta for the NASCAR race? Where were you this weekend?
No, I was not.
They've sold their house and they're getting a Winnebago, and they're going to travel around the country and go to all the NASCAR races.
I was at a casino in Tampa for a few hours, and I saw a true miracle.
Oh, talk to us about a true miracle.
My wife thought she was playing a quarter, but she actually played a $25 pull.
Slot machine type
Nice.
of
Yep.
Yeah.
And won $455.
Oh,
I've done that before on accident and came out a winner.
And she's going crazy, and I'm going, she goes, I only played a quarter. And I walked over, and the thing is just dinging, and the guy next to her goes, no, I'm sorry, that's a $25 thing. And she looked so freaked out because she would never play $25 a pull.
Right.
So she should have won $4.55.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You got to bet big to win big.
I wonder how often that happens, because my daughter thought she was playing penny slots, but it was dollars. And because she didn't know, why did I lose all my money almost instantly?
Yeah, some of it is really confusing.
What'd you do with the money, Randy?
Well, she gave me a little bit to go play, and I think she pocketed the rest.
All right.
Good for her. I would have spent it all.
She walked away. If you're asking, did she walk away? Yes, she did. She walked away right after she won.
Oh,
That's the opposite of what a lot of people do.
The machine is hot. When it's hot, you got to go.
I'll never win big because I'm the same way. If I get up, I'm out. I just give it up.
Get the hell out of there.
I used to have a buddy that would max bet on every machine he ever played on, and he wouldn't even, if he won, he wouldn't even wait to see what he won. He would just hit it over and over and over again as fast as he could. And I've never seen somebody win that kind of money that fast.
Oh, it's nuts. Sometimes I see people playing 2 slot machines at once, and they're just double tapping the buttons.
How do you know when it's not going to be hot anymore, though?
It's all luck. There's no such thing as a hot machine. The machine doesn't know it's hot. It's just all luck.
They know.
How much money do you have to win at the casino for them to hand you the oversized check? I've seen it once in person, and I don't remember what the amount was.
I think it's over 1,000.
1,000's a hand pay.
Okay, well, how much does it have to be for the giant check?
Probably $50,000.
Oh, no, because
does it have to be like the jackpot? I mean, whatever the jackpot on the machine is.
Yeah. A friend of mine won at a casino in Wisconsin, and they handed him the giant oversized check. And I know it wasn't anywhere near $50,000. Maybe it depends on the casino.
Or does it depend on the game, maybe?
Maybe it depends on the game. I was just wondering if there was a standard answer.
I don't think
so. There likely is not.
Google says if you win more than $5,000, you'll probably receive one of those big checks.
That sounds more likely. I think it was around and the funny thing about so they take a picture of my buddy with the giant oversized check and 2 of my other friends who were there. And it's it's a happy picture, of course, because of the giant check, but all three of them are so violently intoxicated in the photograph that it ends up being kind of a sad moment, really, because it was 3 o'clock in the morning and they've been drinking for 17 hours. They look terrible and worn out and pathetic, but
Dubstep Jesus said his wife won 10 grand. It was just a normal check. Didn't get the big check.
I wouldn't want the big check because that draws a lot of attention to you, and I've heard stories
not
about...
at 3 o'clock in the morning in the middle of nowhere. Not in this case, but sure, if you're in Vegas, I don't want that big check either.
At some threshold, you're getting IRS taking money on.
Yeah.
Sure you are. Absolutely.
The security teams usually escort you to your car, though, if you have a big one.
Oh, they shouldn't have escorted us to a car that night, I'll tell you.
That'd be hilarious if you got like a little Mini Cooper watching somebody put one of those big checks in the back seat.
Yeah.
Like in Happy Gilmore, he's just got like 20 of them spilling out the back seat.
I hope you end up holding a big check someday, Cubby.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
I'd like to see you on the news.
That'd be a lot of fun.
Oh, crap. Yeah. I got a couple of buddies, like we all do, who are just absolutely 100% hooked on pull tabs. It's just all they do all day long.
Oh, I've seen it.
And their lives are just circling the drain.
Oh, they're
Cardboard
junkies.
crack.
Just absolute junkies. One dude, one of them, I don't know, I mean, it wasn't anything insane. Oh, $700 or $800 or something, right? But, he's not used to something like that. So he's standing there after they hand him the cash, and he's counting it out. Oh, 100, 200, 300. And then the pull tab dude says, "You better get the hell out of here."
Yeah.
And my buddy said, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "Don't be standing here counting the money like that. Get the hell out of here."
What are you doing, bud?
And then he realized, oh, maybe I'm, and he did. He walked out of there. I mean, you don't want to be paging through all that cash in front of some people. Hey, speaking of empty nickel, so go ahead, Josh.
Tibbs Jesus just sent a photo. He took a picture of the slot that they won on, $19,912.63.
I would not know how to act if I won money like that. 1 second you don't have it, and then the next you do, I'd go insane.
Well, and then get the hell out of there.
Yep.
Get the hell with that security you were talking about.
Yeah, they're going to be my best friends.
Alexander Ovechkin picked up a hat trick against the Edmonton Oilers yesterday. The third, of course, was a chicken-ass empty netter. But they all count. 25 games left. He needs 13 to pass the all-time goal leader, Wayne Gretzky. So there's your latest Alexander Ovechkin update. He's getting there.
Pretty good chance he's going to do that.
He's getting there. See if there's any more Vegas stories coming in here, or I should just say casino stories coming in via the text message. Here, okay. Someone said something about taxes. When a jackpot is over $1,000 in one win, it results in a required W-2, but if you claim it as a loss, it's tax-free because they ask up front whether you want to get taxes taken. Does that all sound right to you guys?
Sure.
Here's someone who says, I won $34,000 one night on slots.
That's awesome.
I wouldn't know how to act either, Ashley. But I would act whatever way I choose to act, it would be outside of the casino. You know what I mean? Yes. No one in that building's going to know that I just won $34,000. Nobody.
Nick, you know my Uncle Tom.
Yes, I do.
Some sort of work event with his boss, and there was a meeting they had to go to, and the meeting ran late. They were at a casino, so him and his boss split $10 in quarters, basically. On the first quarter, they won $10,000.
Oh, man.
The very first quarter.
Oh, my gosh.
It was like some big jackpot promotion. My uncle had never gambled in his life.
Oh, geez.
And so they ended up splitting that.
God, I hate people like that.
Well, if you met him, you'd dislike him even more.
Is that your thing, Randy? Slots, you and the wife?
Yeah, I mean, my wife plays slots. I'll play a few table games, but I'm not real super comfortable doing that. I like to sports bet. This place happened to have sports betting is legal in Florida, so
sports betting is fun.
I went over there and kind of dabbled in that, but
you might play a little bit of cards here and there.
I'll once in a while. Yeah.
I'm not a confident card player either.
If I'm with someone who wants to play, I'll feel a lot more comfortable with them. So,
I sit on the toilet and I play handheld poker.
That counts.
Sure.
But I'm not confident playing poker. I've done it. I'm sure I've done it a few times, hammered, or blackjack, but I'm not a confident card player. Strategy is not my thing. I am not a strategic person in any aspect of my life.
Have you ever spent time just kind of reading about strategy?
No.
Okay.
No, it's too boring. I can't. That's the problem. Is there's no way I could sit and watch poker on television and learn from that. There's just no way. It's so boring. I want to vomit. And also, I couldn't bring myself to go online and read about, well, and you double down, and it loses me immediately.
Sure.
Somebody texted in and said their grandma, she's a veteran gambler, won $72,000 in 1 year off of machines.
Wow.
I'll bet.
Yeah, I have a sibling that does that. He wins a lot of money, but he also loses a lot of money.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the thing with the pull tab people. They always post photos of, like $200 wins. And you say, well, how much were you in for?
Right. They don't like to tell you that answer.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
It's the weirdest thing, luck and gambling. It can be such a bizarre thing. There is a family that I grew up with, and just about every member of that family has some story of a grand prize casino trip that they made where they play in cards or play in slots or some kind of lottery. Sign up for a free car. It's the most bizarre damn thing. This family, damn near every one of them, has a story. They've been on the cover of magazines.
What? Wow. Jeez.
And there's something about them. They just drip good luck.
An ex-girlfriend of mine, she nannied for a family that won the lottery twice. They won Gopher 5, and then I forget the other one, another local one. And they bought a Corvette the second time, and then they had customized plates that had the lottery.
It's a real thing. Some people are blessed, others are somewhere in the middle, others are cursed.
You should only be able to win the lottery once. You had your chance.
I'm not going to name the person's name because it's embarrassing, but Randy will appreciate that story a lot. So when I worked for the Twins, a coworker of mine went to Vegas for the NCAA basketball tournament for March Madness.
Yep, I've been there.
And he bet all the games on Thursday morning and went 0 for 8. Didn't win a single game, and bet all the games in the afternoon and went 0 for 8 again. So he was 0 for 16.
That's
hard to do. This is at the end of the story. So he went and had like a little buffet dinner or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And as he tells the story, he was sitting next to a group of 4 or 5 guys, and they didn't know each other, but they were all talking about the games and stuff. And he told them, he'd gone 0 for 16 that day. And these guys kind of looked at each other and they said, well, who do you like tonight?
What a bunch of dicks.
He hung out with them the rest of the night.
Oh, that's funny. Josh, here's a listener who went to Mystic Lake and won a free towel.
Oh, yeah. Nice. That's kind of like the extent of the things I've won before.
Yeah.
Chips and guac or something.
0 for 16.
What is this? That's a great story, Brad Ryder. Here's a listener texted in to say to me, you should play Liar's Dice. What is Liar's Dice? Can you get back to me, Crew Chief Jesus? I do like dice games because they require zero strategy.
Yeah, heck yeah.
I do love to play 6 Spies 5-4 and 3s are free and whatever dice game you want to call. I love because it requires zero. So what is Liar's Dice?
I remember it was in Red Dead Redemption 2. But I can't remember how to play it.
Oh, that's probably where Nick knows it from.
It totally was.
Yeah.
People are recommending I play roulette because it requires zero strategy. I enjoy roulette.
Roulette does require strategy.
No, it doesn't.
It can. Yes, it can.
Well, I never needed it. I've done well on roulette by just going green, red, whatever the colors are. 13, 11 and a half. I've won playing roulette, and I was hammered and didn't think twice about any move that I made. So.
Do you always pick your favorite numbers and stuff?
No, just whatever comes to mind.
On strategy, Nick, Blacktop Mojo Mofo Jesus was a blackjack dealer for 2 years, read 3 blackjack books, and he's still down.
It wouldn't help me. I don't speak that language.
Yeah, it's because he gets sat at a table with somebody like me that likes to hit on 17.
You're splitting 10s against a 9, aren't you?
See, Josh and I don't even know what that means.
They hate me at the blackjack table, but it works for me sometimes.
Somebody won third-place game tickets on a radio station.
Whoa.
Yes.
Nice. Speaking of third-place game tickets, back to hockey. Golden Gopher men's hockey swept Ohio State. Now they're in first place in the Big Ten, whatever that means for them in the long run. We'll find out. The girls' state high school hockey tournament had their title games over the weekend, and people are saying they were the two best finals in the history of the sport. I didn't see much of it aside from Saturday night. I saw a little bit of Hillmurra taking out Edina in the AA final, and I had a couple of friends. at the bar, friggin' cake eaters, beat Edina. I hate Edina. Who do you hate, Edina? A bunch of rich folks. We're in Wayzata. Shut up. The Class A title game was Dodge County beating Warroad. Does everyone know the story here?
Oh, that's a big one.
Okay, Warroad had won a couple, 3 titles in a row. Here comes Dodge County, which is way too close to Byron.
It's down there.
Minnesota.
Isn't that Hayfield? Dodge County?
Dodge City, Hayfield, I can't remember.
Yeah.
All I know is Byron's right down there.
Isn't Faribault down there?
Byron sucks. What?
Byron doesn't suck.
No? Okay.
Faribault's a little north of there.
North
isn't
of
it?
Yes. Byron's down by Rochester.
Yeah, and it totally sucks.
It does not.
I got an uncle that lives down there. I'll call him. He'll tell you the truth. But Dodge County ends up beating Warroad, and it was one of these deals. Now, I'm not in favor of this kind of thing. I hate replay. But it worked. Dodge County had a goal that wasn't a goal. You following this? In overtime? I think it was overtime, wasn't it? Yes. And the referee said no goal, but then they went to like a 20-minute long review, and then the referee points at the center dot, and they all, I don't like that, but that's the way it worked out, and everyone's happy for Dodge Center for beating Warroad. Oh, man. The Wolves have lost a couple in a row now coming out the All-Star break. They lost by 7 at home.
Yep.
To the top club in the West, the Oklahoma City Thunders.
Now they get to play them again tonight.
Yeah, the same two teams play tonight in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And the Thunders got 37 points from that Gilgeous-Alexander character. They shot a season-best 54% from the three-point line. Anthony Edwards, 29 points.
They're a scary. They are
from day one.
They are a scary team when Chet Holmgren is playing 30 minutes a night.
Yes.
I mean, they were very good without him, but they are really good with him.
One thing that Anthony Edwards and the Wolves have to keep an eye on, and they mentioned this during the game last night, he got another technical foul last night. He's got 14 now on the season. If you get 16, that's a one-game suspension.
Yeah, he's cruising towards that, no problem.
And then every 2 after that, you get another one. So if you
That's
get 16,
just not smart.
No, that's what I'm saying. I mean, they need him, obviously, in this stretch run. I mean,
especially with they're banged up with Gobert's out and Randall's out.
I mean, can you imagine them playing anyone right now without him? I mean, they got 24 games left, and they're right in the thick of this, needing to get really out of the play-in game. I mean, you'd love to see him get in that 6th spot and get out of the play-in game, but if he's going to miss games because he's being a bonehead and getting technical fouls, that's not good.
You watch a lot of NBA when you can analyze players' whining styles.
Yep.
And Carl was a big whiner, but he was way more crybaby about it, where Edwards is more angry about it.
Yeah.
Well, Edwards is more directed at an official about it, where Carl would just whine when he ran down the floor.
Right.
Yeah. Right. He would just whine into thin air.
Yeah.
Edwards gets right in their face.
Yeah.
But, he'll be suspended here eventually. They had a great second quarter, played right with Oklahoma City up until the final push, but the Thunders went on an 18-4 run in the fourth. Gilgeous-Alexander was terrific during that stretch. And, 9 o'clock game, what a ripoff. 7 o'clock tonight, you can see him play on the FanDuel channel. People texting in. I love the text messages here. 651-989-9393 if you ever want to mess with us. Here's a guy who lives in Wanamingo, Josh.
What's he like about it?
Get back to us, dumbass welder Jesus. What do you like
the highlights?
About Wanamingo? That was an old song. Rob Halford sang a song called Wanamingo. You remember that one, Josh?
I do not. Oh. With Judas Priest?
No, it was his band 2.
That's why I don't remember.
Yeah, he had a song about Wanamingo. There's a report going around. This won't surprise anybody around these parts. Says here Kevin Garnett will join the Timberwolves in one way or another immediately upon the new ownership change. As you know, Alex Rodriguez and Jennifer Lopez are taking over. So they say as soon as that becomes official, Kevin Garnett will take a job with the Timberwolves.
Like selling concessions? Do we know what the title is?
He'll be one of those special assistant type people where, he'll show up.
He'll be an ambassador.
Sure.
That'll be awesome.
Faribault's in Rice County.
Okay.
Not Dodge County. Word is Garnett will be hired to work in the Wolves front office in probably exactly the title you guys just described. He has mostly avoided Target Center for the last decade due to his hatred for current owner Glenn Taylor. So it'll be time, as we have mentioned on multiple occasions, it'll be time also to put that number 21 jersey up in the rafters.
Yep.
That'll be cool.
Yep.
KG. Speaking of that new ownership, Alex Rodriguez, he and Jennifer Lopez were in where the hell's Bucknell University?
It's like it's out east, obviously.
Coast,
Pennsylvania? Yeah. Okay. He and Jennifer Lopez were watching Bucknell college basketball play Army. They were out there speaking at a special forum. I don't have any idea what's behind that, the two of them. So he decides to go to the ball game, Bucknell Army. They did that gimmick at halftime where if a kid hits a half-court shot, he wins $10,000. And the kid spotted Alex Rodriguez and Jennifer Lopez and asked Rodriguez to take the shot for him. And A-Rod did, and he made it, and the kid gets $10,000, and everyone wet their pants.
Oh, my God.
This is up on 93x.com.
He looked like he knew exactly what he was doing the entire time. He must get some practice in at Target Center when no one's looking. He banked it in. It was beautiful. Beautiful shot. So he won that kid $10,000. Dumbass welder Jesus does not like it in Wanamingo, Josh.
Oh, he doesn't?
No.
I assumed that he moved there on purpose and
doesn't
loved it.
like it. Well, where would you? Let's keep going with this guy. Where do you want to be, dumbass welder Jesus? Text us back. Where do you want to live?
Clara City.
That's an option. It's an option. You can live anywhere you want in the state of Minnesota, dumbass welder Jesus. Where do you go? Get back to me. I'm going to keep your text right here in front of me. Josh, what if we got you signed up for a half-court shot at Target Center, sold-out crowd, and you win $10,000 if you make the Sunbed?
I'd be pretty excited about that, I got to be honest. If there's girls in the crowd, I could do it. You've seen me perform well.
Oh, there'll be chicks in the crowd.
If there's attractive girls, I can do it, but if there's not, I'm not going to be able to do it.
Will you be nervous?
Absolutely.
Will you sweat through your shirt?
Probably.
Oh, yeah. There's gals in the audience at the Timberwolves.
Especially these days.
I'd like to see that.
My best athletic performances were where I was so nervous because there was attractive girls there that somehow it was like Will Ferrell in Old School giving that speech. I channeled something.
You blacked out.
I don't know what happened.
I remember.
It worked out.
This was a game of golf we unfortunately agreed to get involved in because golf sucks. Everyone knows it. But Josh and I agreed to play golf.
It was my first time ever.
First time ever swim, and you were terrible.
I was
and then
really
some
bad.
Chicks walked up, and it was time for Josh to drive. Is that what you call it?
Yep.
Yes. And he said, well, someone else go. You know, out of our foursome of people, he's like, someone else go. I can't do this in front of the
Like
chicks.
Aaron Sickman from the Wild. He was good. We were with Aaron, and I told him, like, can you please go?
Yeah, and
I
he
can't
said,
go while these girls are
and Sickman knew you were nervous, and so Sickman said, well, no, that's against the rules. I can't go. You have to go. You know, he was lying to us. Yeah, but then you went for it, and you ripped one down the middle of the thing, whatever you call it.
And then I had to act like it was no big deal.
Yeah.
I was a little disappointed.
I hooked it a little bit there at the
Could have been better.
Okay, dumbass welder Jesus, I asked him, because he told us he doesn't like living in Wanamingo, and who would? He says, I asked him anywhere in Minnesota he'd like to live, and he said, with you, Josh.
We got a room.
If that's okay.
Yeah, there's some boxes in there. I'll move them out. You move in.
Here's a listener. Whenever he passes through Wanamingo, he says, Wanamingo, to the walls, till the sweat drops off your balls. Does anyone know what that means?
No, but
It's just being funny. Yeah.
I hate to go ahead with this story because it's I'm disappointed. I can no longer like Shaquille O'Neal in any way. And I'm being totally serious. Ever since the guy retired from the game, I've always liked seeing Shaquille O'Neal on television. I think he's funny. I know he's a very charitable guy. He's very, very kind to people. But I can't like him anymore because this story isn't funny. This is criminal. A former teammate of Shaq's, Jason Richardson, I'm sure a few of you recognize the name. I think he won a couple of slam dunk contests back in the day, Jason Richardson. He was on somebody podcast recently, and he told some stories about when Shaq was a player and the way Shaq tormented one of his former teammates, a feller by the name of Lou Amundsen. I have vague memories of Lou Amundsen, but that was one particular teammate that Shaq pranked constantly, and this is just not funny. He would put Lou Amundsen's toothbrush between his ass cheeks.
That's just not right, dude.
Like there's a story of Shaq's walking around the locker room naked with Lou Amundsen's toothbrush hanging out of his ass.
He pulled the mouthpiece out his ass and he puts it in the locker. And he told us, he said, y'all better not say shit either. Take some toothbrush. He go take a shit and he stirs it in.
No.
After he went number 2.
Oh, you're right, Nick. That's criminal.
No, this is. Sorry, I can't do this. I can't find this funny. He jammed the guy's mouthpiece up his ass and then puts it back in his locker. So this Lou Amundsen puts it in his yap to go out to play ball. He's stirring. Shaq releases fecal matter into the toilet and then stirs the turds with this guy's toothbrush and puts it back in his locker room. Not funny.
What's wrong with you?
I actually got a text message from Medical Device Jesus, who read the story. Who, by the way, did we ever mention this, Josh, that Medical Device Jesus is the illegitimate son of Judd Heathcote?
I did not know that.
Former Michigan State.
How do you know it was illegitimate?
Because he doesn't go by the last name Heathcote.
Maybe he's embarrassed.
He says about the Shaq story, this is the guy's mentally ill. That's psycho-sh.
Yeah, that's true.
And there are some people saying that he did this to Kobe.
Well, that might explain their rivalry. I don't.
That's not funny.
I don't mind being pranked. I can appreciate a good prank, but there's nothing funny about it.
I can appreciate a good prank, too. There's nothing funny about your anus making contact with my mouth guard.
And I bet there are teammates that went along and laughed at it just because it's Shaq and they felt like they had to.
Well,
Of course.
I'm sure that was part of it for him, right?
Yep.
I'm Shaq. It's funny because it's me.
So I'm not listening to him anymore when I watch that TNT show.
There's a lot more stuff like that than goes on in the locker room than you realize.
Yes, but you know what, Brad Ryder? But I don't know those. As soon as I know those stories, I'll hate that person too. I'm sure, of course, there's 100 years of these type of sports pranks stories out there.
Yeah, definitely.
But I don't know them. When I do, I'll hate that person.
There was someone here that claimed he used to do that to a former boss of ours, the inserting something that was in. Our boss used to chew pens all the time.
Yes.
And a coworker of ours claimed he used to take those pens and insert it in his anus.
No.
And then I don't think that ever really.
That guy was a liar.
Yeah. I don't think he would have done that.
Okay, good.
That's terrible, and it's not funny. So I'm going to listen to Kenny and Charles and Henry. What the hell's the other guy? Harry, Donnie, Ronnie, Ernie.
Ernie.
I'm muting it when Shaq talks. He's dead to me. Well, this isn't good. This isn't good. I think the Golden Gophers played these guys at one. What? What happened? All I had to say
about
was
the Penn State game on Saturday.
Oh, God.
So you're right back
You got
to this.
all of those great alumni there, and then you crap the bed.
Okay, that I wasn't even going to bring
the worst team in the Big Ten. After you just won 2 great games in California.
And now you're back on the bubble of not
Oh,
making the
my
Big Ten.
God.
Yeah, he's back wanting to shut the program down.
It's just never ending, though, right? This roller coaster is never ending.
I wasn't even going to bring up Saturday's Golden Gopher.
You did.
Well, no, I didn't.
No.
Yeah, you did.
No, I didn't. I just said gold. I was going to talk about a completely different basketball team. All I said was Golden Gophers, and you went,
I know. How
Wanamingo to the walls, till the sweat falls off my balls. I don't know.
Brad Ryder, how do you do this?
I
how
said
in the world do you do this?
I said a few weeks ago, and I know this sounds bad, and I know they won a couple nice games, but my care level is not there.
Yeah, well, you're a prick.
Well, I'm sorry. It's not. Yeah.
He's got no care level, Josh.
Yeah, it's gone.
For that.
Well, yeah, it
so
was
frustrating.
It was a damn shame.
Embarrassing.
It was frustrating. Now, tell me about this alumni. I missed it. Was it alumni game?
It was alumni day.
Was Willie Burton there?
Yes.
I cried the last time I saw Willie Burton in person.
Including a woman who's the longest ever season ticket holder. 75 consecutive years.
Jesus.
She's gone to go for basketball. But the point is, there's so much goodwill. They've been playing so well.
Yes.
And they're at home, and it's alumni, and everybody's there, and you crap the bed.
I understand
it's
completely.
so typical.
You have 4 games. You have 4 games left. You have
Everything's on the line.
Yes.
Everything.
You have 4. You play Northwestern on Tuesday. If you don't come out and beat them by 15 points, just forget it.
Oh, my God, it's just so frustrating.
Well, Northwestern's right below them. If they lose to Northwestern, they're sitting in an out position in the Big Ten tournament. They're not going to make a 15-team field in an 18-team league.
I understand your frustration. I do. I didn't see the game. I was busy with this and that. When I saw the final resort, of course, I was bothered. I get it, you guys. I do. But I just want to hear more about the alumni. Because the last time I was at a Golden Gopher game and Willie Burton came out to center court all by himself to commemorate, I don't know, his birthday or whatever. I embarrassed myself. I cried my eyes out. Right there in front of I was with a woman. I was with a girl, Josh.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I had to cry. I cried.
She might have appreciated that.
I think she thought I was cute. It was Willie Burton. For the love of Christ. Oh, here's a picture of that lady you were talking about, Randy Shaver, 75-year season ticket holder.
Yes.
She's hugging Goldie Gopher. And they gave her a jersey with number 75.
I love it.
Yeah. It had all the makings of a great Saturday.
Was Richard Coffey there?
Yeah. I don't know about Richard Coffey.
Melvin Newbern?
I would assume Richard Coffey was there.
Ariel McDonald.
Townsend Orr.
Oh, the kid that came from Indianapolis who shot the 3-pointers.
Vashawn Leonard?
Vashawn Leonard? Was Vashawn Leonard there?
Was Tommy Davis there? Do you remember Tommy Davis? God, I love Tommy Davis.
You know who my wife is personal friends with? Got his cell phone number and everything. Because they work in the same industry. I'll tell you right now. Walter Bond.
Yep. He's a sticker, right?
Mm-hmm. What's that?
Schick was there. I saw Schick.
Jim Schick and Chance.
Chad Colander.
Oh my God.
Ernest Sigamasaba.
Yep. And Patrice.
If we just keep doing this, we'll feel better about Gopher basketball. Let's just keep doing
let's talk about those teams from the 90s.
How about this one? Sam Jacobson.
Dude.
Does that make you tear up?
Not as much as Willie, but
whatever happened to Sam?
I guarded him in a pickup game once, and I'll give you one guess how it went.
Pickup game?
Yeah.
Not well for you.
Not well.
Yeah.
And he was going at about probably 30%.
Courtney James.
Courtney James.
Greatest high school basketball player I ever saw in Minnesota.
Charles Thomas.
Sam Jacobson.
Bobby Jackson. John Thomas. A friend of mine.
John Thomas was there.
Yeah, he's always there. A guy that I used to work in a warehouse with went to high school in the mid-'80s, and twice a year he had to guard Kevin Lynch. And he said it was just terrible. His folks stopped coming to the games because Kevin Lynch would score like 60 on him twice a year. I think he went to Kennedy and Lynch went to Jefferson. Okay, what time is it, for Christ's sake? You know what I was bringing up? Indiana University, Indianapolis. I think I remember the Golden Gophers playing them last year before. Indiana, how do I say that again, Josh? Indiana University at Indianapolis. They left town to go play a road game in northern Kentucky. It's about a 2-hour trip from the University of Indianapolis to northern Kentucky, and they got beat. And then it got even worse on the bus ride home because the bus exploded.
Oh,
What?
wow.
Yes, the bus exploded and caught fire. I don't know. I don't know how. But
Was everybody okay?
Everybody lived.
Yeah,
everybody lived.
Okay.
But a bunch of the players lost their wallets and cell phones, and all the team's jerseys and equipment burned up in the bus.
Oh my God!
Would you just call it? Call the season?
Yeah.
Just call it.
That's a sign.
The bus exploded. What else did I? Is anyone worried that this Justin Ishbaba is not going to buy the Twins? Ishbaba?
I'm disappointed.
Yeah.
Okay.
He would have been an owner that would have been invested. And I read that he wants to buy the White Sox.
Well, he's already a minority owner in the White Sox.
Okay, but really?
He's taking all of his money and turning it over to the White Sox.
What?
I don't know if you watched last season, but things didn't really end well for them.
No.
Yeah, no kidding.
Who's that?
The White Sox?
Oh, yeah, they had a bad season.
The potential for that franchise to be worth more money later is greater, though, too.
I understand, but still. It's the
Buying
stinking
low,
White
selling
Sox.
high.
He's not going to bother buying the Twins, this Babishka. He's putting more of his money into the Chicago White Sox. So the Twins are still for sale. They need a new billionaire to come around, or the Pohlads are going to hang on to him until the day that we die.
They said somebody else already stepped up. So we already have somebody that's filled.
Word has it there's a few other groups sniffing around. Yeah.
A listener texted in to say two things make him cry. Late 80s and 90s Golden Gopher basketball memories, and Manny Pacquiao singing "Sometimes When We Touch, the Honesty's Too Much," and I have to close my eyes and cry. And hide, or whatever it is. Two things. Those are the only two. You want another old Golden Gopher basketball player's name? Trevor Winter.
It's you, yeah.
Where are they going crazy, Randy Shaver?
Slayton.
They're going crazy in the street of Slayton.
Yes.
Now, I think his son plays for Wisconsin now, or is committed to Wisconsin.
No, that's a stupid mistake to commit yourself to Wisconsin.
I think his son has already played there a year or two.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
Oh, we could do this all day. I love it. I do. I remember all those clubs going to the barn, losing my friggin' mind. The New York Yankees have amended their long-standing facial hair policy to now allow, quote, well-groomed beards.
Nice. I'm the only one that's excited? All right.
Who's in charge of determining whether it's well trimmed or not?
They got a
somebody
beard guy
with the
on
last
staff.
name Steinbrenner, I would imagine.
Barber.
I don't know. So, I mean, my goodness, this is...
Wow, it only took till 2025.
Yeah. Starting in the 70s, then owner George Steinbrenner implemented the policy to instill a sense of discipline in his players. No beards. Well, you could wear a mustache, right?
And I don't think your hair could be over the collar or something.
Could not reach your shoulders.
Yeah.
And a lot of folks, make the mistake of saying mustaches, but no, he allowed mustaches. Donnie Baseball had a mustache hanging from his friggin' nose his whole career there with the Yankees, but it's a whole new world, you guys.
Sounds like one of their relievers had a meeting with one of the owners and basically said, "I'm not going to resign here if I can't do this." One of their better relievers.
That's adorable.
Money talks and BS walks, right, Brad Ryder?
Yeah.
Rodney Williams from Cooper High School. Rodney Williams. remember how when that dude would get up for a dunk? Oh, my God.
Yeah.
He could jump right out of the friggin' gym. You're exactly right, March Madness Jesus. Rodney stinking Williams. All right. We got to go. Or we'll just sit here. Oh, one more text. A listener wants to know if Britney Spears could put my mouth guard where Shaq put Lou Amundsen's mouth guard, would I still wear it? And the obvious answer is yes.
Yeah, duh.
And Tara Reid, too, right?
You're only human.
The obvious answer is yes. Yeah,
You'll make an exception.
No, thank you.
She could put my mouth guard there.
Making her little witch's brew, stirring it with your toothbrush right there.
No, not that part.
that part's too
Just the
far.
mouth guard?
Just the mouth guard gimmick. Not the stirring with the... No.
It's too much.
No. We got to get... Thanks, Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
They got their heads up their ass.
On 93X.
Dana here to tell you all about my new friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. You see, I've been doing apartment living ever since my parents kicked me out back in the day, but now I'm back living in a house. I'm absolutely clueless when it comes to any project. That's where Standard comes into play. They cranked on my furnace to get it really cooking for another cold winter. And think about this. Standard's been doing this for over 95 years. That means at one point, they made sure your great-grandpappy was all nice and warm in his butt-flap jammies. So get in touch with the folks at standardheating.com and make sure you ask about becoming a Smart Club member. That's standardheating.com.
This is a mini meditation guided by Bombas. Repeat after me. I'm comfy. I'm cozy. I have 0 blisters on my toes. And that's because I wear Bombas, the softest socks, underwear, and t-shirts that give back. One purchased equals one donated. Now go to bombas.com/listen and use code LISTEN for 20% off your first purchase. That's bombas.com/listen and use code LISTEN at checkout.
Former U.S. Navy SEAL Sean Ryan captures real stories about sacrifice and strength.
My biggest fear wasn't death. My biggest fear was nobody will remember me.
That motivates a lot of people.
It just made me feel invincible. Open the steel door and just... They were all convinced, I think, that they were about to die. This rush of stress comes over me because now it's soul time.
All of a sudden, I'm saying, what is really important?
Let us reveal the truth of ourselves.
That's it.
The Sean Ryan Show. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Dr. P. Jesus.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Oh, be damned. Good thing our Dr. Pal is here in studio because damn near every one of us has something going on with our health or lack thereof on this here radio show. We should all open up and say for you. Dr. P. Jesus in studio. Hello, James.
Hey, great to be back. That would be fun if you all said at the same time.
Yeah, but it's not about us. It's about our listeners who are texting in 651-989-9393 with questions about their health issues. First and foremost, how you doing? What's new? Anything going on?
I'm doing great. A friend of the show, Rick Gray, who owns Mega Minnetonka.
Oh, Meta.
Pickleball, yeah. He recruited me to do courtside commentary during a tournament this past weekend.
Oh, is that right? Awesome.
So I was teamed up with another guy, and obviously most play-by-play, or there's the play-by-play person, and then there's the color commentary person.
Sure.
I think I'm going to portray myself. I was more like the Ed McMahon on Johnny Carson.
Okay.
Not really offering anything greatly useful, just sort of, hey-oh.
Or, whoa, what a shot, kind of a thing.
He's a legend for it.
You are correct.
Sidekick.
Yes.
More so than a color commentator.
Yeah.
Wow. Where can we find this? Is it all over the internet?
It was being live streamed on Facebook, which I hear is very popular.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it is on their website. But actually, honestly, I was teamed up with a guy named John McCullough, who is one of the pros, and he teaches at Mega and is a high-level player who was great. And it was a lot of fun, honestly. Just some fantastic players. And so some of the best players in Minnesota were definitely there playing. So.
Well, is this something, have you caught the bug now, so to speak, where you'd like to call some more live pickleball events?
We'll see if they ask me back.
Why did they ask you in the first place? I don't mean that to sound offensive.
No, you're right. I mean, it's a good question. A little bit because Rick knows me through this, and I met him when Josh went over there to play some pickleball. And then I was there watching a tournament one time, and they had the live stream going, and somebody just handed me a microphone and said, hey, why don't you sit down here and talk to this, sit next to one of the other people who was doing it. And it went okay. So
nice.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, even my parents listened a little bit.
Oh, did they? I wish you would have given us a heads up.
Well, it's on there. I'll send you a little link if you want to check it out.
We would.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun.
Good for you.
Well, here, Accountant Jesus has a question.
Yeah, let's get to it.
I don't know if we've gotten this before. Have you ever heard of somebody smelling smells that aren't there, like an olfactory hallucination? Every once in a while, I'll smell either burning or natural gas to the point where it's so strong I want to leave the area, but no one else I'm with can smell it.
I mean, I've heard of it. So I guess it'd be the difference between, are you misidentifying things? Do things smell unusual, or do you have a decreased sense of smell? Which that's a very common thing that happens after a viral infection. Sometimes medications can affect things like that. But truly, olfactory hallucinations, which that's the term he used, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot less common. The classic things that can be associated with some types of epilepsy, where you're basically getting neurons firing off in your brain in that area of the brain that are basically giving the perception of smell when nothing's there.
Is it always bad smells that you know? I mean, it's too bad he can't have some.
You know, that's a good question. I don't remember ever hearing that it's necessarily something bad. What did he mention? He mentioned natural gas and what?
I already forgot.
Dog turds.
Okay.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
What did he say? It's right on the tip of my tongue. I can't remember now.
Yeah. Then the only other thing.
Burning.
Burning.
You said burning,
Okay.
I think.
So not good things. The only other thing I could think is, if you've got some sort of a sinus thing and you've just got, nasty crud up in your nose, that you're maybe getting whiffs of weird odors, but.
Isn't that also associated with a stroke, smelling thing?
I mean, it could be. It could be, yeah. I mean, basically, if you've got parts of your brain doing what they shouldn't be doing, either because of a seizure or a stroke, it could be. If it happens from time to time, you wouldn't think stroke just because, it's going to be, wow, I've never experienced this before, and now it's terrible, but usually it's going to be associated with other things too.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting texts from people that said they had something similar and they had sinus infections.
Yeah, I mean, that would be...
Oh, that's that crud you were talking about.
Yeah, I think it's certainly possible. So, it depends on the context. Has it been coming and going? Is it a brand new thing?
Sinus infection, you've just got rotting mucus and whatnot up there, right?
Basically.
I've had a couple of those. Those hurt.
Oh.
Yeah, they do.
Right, so usually there's plenty of other symptoms associated
While we're on the subject, a listener also texted in wanting to know if smelling salts can be dangerous. Smelling salts.
That's a funny thing. In all my time in medicine, my only exposure to smelling salts has been on television. I mean,
you see a ball player take a hit of it before he goes.
Do they actually do that?
Yeah, they still do.
Oh.
I think there's a
Dexter
newer...
does it. Ashley, you know that. Dexter does it when he wakes up his victims.
There's a newer version of it now, and I wish I could tell you more. It's not like in the old days you'd see them put it right to their nostril and take a little bump. There's a different vibe now. I wish maybe Zach Parisi could call in. There's a modern version of it, but it's still a thing.
So they do it to get wake themselves up like crazy.
Right.
I don't actually know what's in it. My sense is it's like ammonia or something. Ammonia salts.
I've smelled it before. I've had it around me before, and that sounds right. It smells, at least to me, it smelled like ammonia.
Yeah.
More anxiety than Hair Jesus wants to know: could it be demonic possession?
the olfactory hallucination.
Yeah.
I mean, that's. Yeah, I guess I usually put that pretty far down the list, but don't necessarily
it's a possibility.
I don't necessarily feel qualified to make that diagnosis.
You've never diagnosed demonic
ammonia
possession before.
But ammonia up in your nose is probably, it's a very, it's a volatile chemical that could certainly kind of blow out your olfactory receptors up in your nose if you're using a lot. We should look up what athletes use now, because I don't know what it is.
Yeah, it's something new.
It's not cocaine.
Not new. That's old.
Athletes have been into that for years.
That's a fine salt.
About a year ago during an orgasm, it felt like my head exploded and I had muscle spasms, headache, and a stiff neck for about a week. Now it's progressed to 90% of my orgasms, so the person only does so when they absolutely need a release, they said. This is from Still Can't Come Up with a Jesus name. Jesus.
That's a good name. Okay, so... Well, yeah, severe headaches and even beyond
muscle
that.
spasms, stiff neck.
Yeah, that's...
And it lasts about a week.
Oh, bummer.
The pain, not the orgasm.
Wow, that would be something. I mean, that's concerning, clearly. I'd call it an exertional headache. And I know it has come up before in different contexts, but if you're exercising or sexually active or orgasming and you get a severe headache and it's a pattern that has developed, you definitely need to get in to be seen, because we are concerned about some sort of an aneurysm, essentially, up in your head that is, when the blood is flowing like that, it kind of spasms, and when there's increased pressure in your head, it can give you those symptoms. But I mean, that's severe right there. Some people will get migraines in that situation, which it could be a severe migraine, although those don't usually last for a week. So that's something to not ignore.
That would freak me out.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. I can't think of any. I don't know if I can come up with a. It's not a sinus infection. Something benign like that. It's definitely concerning.
Now, we're getting lucky here. It seems like the messages that I'm receiving are piggybacking perfectly with Josh. You just asked an orgasm question. Here's a lack of an orgasm question. And I don't think this kid's trying to be funny. He's only 22. I'm worried, he says, I can orgasm when whacking off, but not when having sex with my girlfriend. Yes, I can get it up, but no orgasm.
I guess the first question is, does he wear a condom when he has sex?
Oh, nice, Ashley.
I know that there's some men out there that say that they, can't orgasm with a condom on, but I did meet one man and he 100%, it was like impossible. Just impossible for him to.
I hear you hate, dude, get back to us.
No, he was a buddy.
Are you wearing rubbers with your girlfriend? I'm looking at your text right here, 22-year-old. There's just not a lot of other information other than that.
So, that's certainly a good question, right? Condoms do decrease sensation a bit.
They're terrible.
And there's some out there that
smell bad.
I just watched an old Curb Your Enthusiasm episode where it was like a condom with lidocaine in it, so you could go all night.
Oh, yeah.
I think those things do exist.
They do.
Prolong the experience. So that's possible. I think in this day and age of adult material being readily available on the internet for a very low price of free, guys get used to pleasuring themselves and
porn fried brain
and how they do it.
Porn fried brain? Is that what you said?
Yeah, they can no longer orgasm from regular sex. They need something special.
Yeah, we get it.
I've heard too, like grip.
It's basically you're used to, you kind of, it's like practicing a sport or something where you're having to achieve, or seek out a certain type of visual stimulation or experience in the way you're touching yourself, I think. And it's almost like practicing an instrument or something. You get really good at it. And,
flesh flute.
And maybe someone else can't do it the way you do.
Right.
And I think that is a problem.
Okay, he gotten back to us. No condoms. He can't finish with his girlfriend, and there's some jokes here that I would have told 10 years ago, but not anymore. He can't finish even BJs don't work.
Oh, I feel bad for her a little too.
Yeah. So it could be. It can be a little bit of nerve, a little bit of anxiety. Because if you are, if you're anxious, if you're anxious about getting her pregnant, I guess, or just anxious about performance. Most guys that age struggle with the opposite. Obviously, prematurely being done. And,
right.
Well, we don't necessarily struggle with it, but we might experience it.
It's a compliment.
You might be perfectly happy with it.
It is a compliment, Ashley.
100%.
Premature ejaculation. Who was the comic that told the old joke? He's tired of seeing the television ads where they say, you're suffering from premature ejaculation. He said, does it look like I'm suffering?
Right.
I'm having a good time over here and quickly.
Right. And it means you're really good at this, honey.
Yeah.
So I guess it's...
Anxiety could be...
Yeah, it's unlikely to be anything. There's nothing wrong with him physiologically. Again, it probably is sort of what's the context here. A
few people are saying their depression medication does the exact same thing to them, where they can, with themselves, they're fine. With somebody else, they're not.
That's interesting.
Oh.
Depression medications are notorious for basically the serotonin ones, Prozac, Paxil, Zoloft, or the classic ones.
Yeah, get back to us one more time, dude. Are you anxious? Are you nervous? Are you on medication? And then we got to move on. We got other folks texting in, but
and there's plenty of help out there for that. I mean, even just books that talk about what a couple can work on to sort of maybe take the focus away from orgasm a little bit and not worry about it. And I think for most, especially a young guy, a young couple, they can work through that and help resolve it pretty easily.
Do you ever prescribe, Crane Swinging Jesus, do you ever prescribe a hall pass in this situation just to see, like as a test subject?
I have not never prescribed, no. Right. Yeah, that would be an experiment, right?
Very interesting text, and I'll get back to you, Dr. P, when he gets back to us.
Omaha Jesus said he's had to fake it. Because he has the exact same issue. He'll fake it just, to save the other person there.
Oh, wow.
And he said it's because of his diabetes medication.
I would like to think that I would know if a man faked it.
Yeah, that's thrown me ever since the first time I've heard it. A man faking an orgasm? How in God's name do you do that?
I did that the first time I ever had sex.
I know.
You did?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't, act anything out. I just was like, well, wow, what a wonderful.
You just thought it was done?
Huh?
You just figured it was over?
I just told her.
He couldn't finish.
I couldn't do it. It was nervous.
Oh, really?
It was nerves.
Okay.
It was all nerves. And I remember thinking, I should really be enjoying this.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard so many good things. And it just, I wasn't. I was too nervous.
Pinballing back and forth for hours.
And it was going so long, I eventually just said, oh, wow.
That was.
That was a good set.
Oh,
That was
wonderful.
Okay, the 22-year-old kid who can't have an orgasm with his girlfriend, but he can when he's wanking off.
Oh, and by the way, wearing a condom, that obviously.
You were wearing a condom, of course.
Hides the evidence or lack thereof.
Right, but still, I don't know. I couldn't get away with that.
I figured it out.
The kid said he's on anxiety medication.
Oh, okay. Well, then that could certainly be it. Because a lot of times when people are on anxiety medicine, it's the same, especially for generalized anxiety, it's the same medication you use for depression. So,
and he appreciates your help.
It could very well be one of them. And so if that is an issue, then there are different strategies. One of them is if you're doing really, really well, maybe lowering the dose. Possibly changing medications, or I know we've discussed this before, sometimes adding a medication called Wellbutrin to something like Prozac, Paxil, or Zoloft can help with that delayed orgasm or anorgasmia condition.
Anorgasmia? That's what it's called?
If you can't have an orgasm, anorgasmia, yeah.
Are there some people who live their entire lives with anorgasmia?
You hear about women
Hopefully
that can't
not.
from regular intercourse.
I think it's far more common for women. It's pretty rare for men. And some women who maybe don't ever really experience it because they, maybe were raised in a way where it's wrong to touch yourself.
No.
It is wrong.
Yeah,
That's how I was raised.
Bringing up wrong. Let me just really quick.
I feel for those girls so much.
I knew
Dr.
Josh
P.
was going to say something.
But I should go here because
it is wrong.
I know a lot about medicine, anatomy, physiology, human behavior. What I don't understand is how Ashley can be pregnant because she is not married.
I couldn't figure that out
It's crazy, right?
Well, you know what? Can I tell you about a lady named Mary who also was pregnant without having sex?
It happens, Dr. P. It's a miracle.
So it's a miracle.
While you brought it up.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
While you brought it up, Dr. P, we wanted real quick, if you could, because we were talking on and on earlier about Ashley's pregnancy, busting her chops upside down about leaking and special underwear and all kinds of things she's going to have to endure over the next year or so. So if you could, real quick, give her the top 5, a list of the top 5 things she should most look forward to over the next year. Sarcastic things. The top 5 things she should look forward to over the next year.
Are we going to do it is this like Dave Letterman reverse order? The best one is at the end?
Sure.
We'll save
Sure, best one at the end.
Oh, great. You already have it in mind.
Do you like swollen feet? Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah. Swollen feet, okay.
Do you like bleeding gums?
Oh,
Well, okay,
Murphy.
yeah, that sucks.
There's a possibility of bleeding gums.
Really?
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
That's already been happening.
Do you like stretch marks?
Not at all.
Yeah, 3.
That's 3, yeah. He looks over at Josh. Is that 3?
Let's see. Do you like a stuffy nose?
I've had one consistently, dude.
For the entire time I've known you.
And
actually.
number 1 on the list, How do you feel about hemorrhoids?
We mentioned those earlier. And
Also, do you value sleeping through the night or getting any sleep whatsoever?
a little bit.
Do you?
It's mixed.
Say goodbye. Say goodbye.
What do you think of all that, Ashley? Sound good?
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm super excited.
Damn you, Scuba Steve Jesus wants to know about penis enlargement.
Oh.
He said it's way below average. Don't feel like I'm pleasing my wife the way I should be. How long's the downtime after surgery? Can it be used?
Wow.
And how do I go to? Who do I go to talk about this?
Well, he's pretty dialed in, huh?
Yeah.
I feel like, let me just open my junk email folder and I can give him a number of them.
Yeah, no kidding.
Right. Like,
Get a lot of
what
emails
the
on it.
heck?
How do they know?
I will honestly say I have never had a patient or friend or relative have that surgery. So I don't know. It's hard to, I guess I'm not sure what they actually do. I mean, the only thing I can think that would really be reliably effective and not terribly invasive would be almost like what's done for men with severe erectile dysfunction, where there's basically like an implant to either, depending on how it's designed, it sort of remains semi-rigid all the time, or they're inflatable in some way with a sort of a pump device. I mean, anything, I don't know of anything that's like penis augmentation like you can have with breasts. I mean, it's just different because it's a functional organ. And
you're talking about the pumps and stuff. So I was a regular at a urologist where I got a punch card and everything from the time to show. And they had posters all around about those like ED treatments, and I remember the pumps and there's all kinds of different.
But the thing is, those are for erectile dysfunction. I mean, I've never heard of them being used to augment sexual prowess. To me, that's not what you want to do. And what I also don't know is enlargement about you. I don't know of any way you can lengthen a penis without doing some serious cutting and
that's what we've heard, right?
It's just
cutting and crafting. He says.
Yeah, I think it's not an experiment I would want to go through unless you're. I mean, there are guys who literally have what's called like a micro penis, where it's I can't remember what the
colloquially it's the Josh.
Seen one of those, Dr. P. It changes your life.
Fine, Josh, your penis is fine. Ashley says she partied with a micro penis.
You thought you've seen a small penis until you see a micro penis, and you're like, whoa.
Yeah, I don't. It's like maybe if it's less than 2 centimeters erect or something like. So
do they bring it up?
Oh no!
Ashley, pardon the pun. Do they mention ahead of time? Hey, just so you know, you're about to see something that maybe you've never seen before.
No. Nope.
Less than 2 centimeters. What did you just say?
Well, I think to be truly called a micro penis, and I'll look that up during the break because I don't remember. But it's very, very small. I mean,
I'm gonna look it up.
Like
says like 3.5 inches or less.
Oh,
3.5 inches.
3.5 inches
when erect.
Micro penis.
Yeah.
Damn, maybe I gotta look in 3.5 inches. That's huge.
Here's one that says 2.5.
Yeah.
For when erect.
And the dude didn't say anything ahead of time. He just said, whippity, here it is.
And I thought, all right, well, maybe this will work. It did not work.
I thought the average size for men in the U.S. is like, is it 5.5 or 6? Something like that. So
it's definitely not 6.
I guess I thought of it as smaller, but.
To Ashley's credit, she's never given us his first or last name.
No, he deserves it too. He's a bad person.
If you're considering it, I would absolutely get 2 or 3 opinions from whoever you're planning on having do it, and but I'll look it up during the break too.
So what I'm seeing is 3.67 inches
is micro penis.
Yeah,
you're saying this guy was less. This guy was not a nice person.
Nope.
Would
terrible.
you be?
See,
this says
no.
Average
That's true.
Would you be a nice person?
No, I wouldn't.
5.25 inches is what they say the average penis length is when erect.
Yeah,
that's why 3.6.
That doesn't make sense to me. I always thought of it as much smaller, like where it was.
Yeah, that's just not fair.
I mean, kind of not.
Oh, well, I just looked up. I clicked on the Wikipedia link. They'll show you examples. I didn't know you could see this on Wikipedia.
when you see those pictures? Do you
some
feel
nice
a little?
mini dongs?
Do you feel a little better about it, Cubby?
No.
No.
I think what
I feel like I found my people.
Oh.
I think what I saw
join a
was
support group.
was a true micro penis though, because it was probably about like 1.5 inches.
All right.
When ready to go?
Yep.
Okay.
And that's something. We got to take a break, but before we do, other listeners have been sarcastically texting in other highlights you should look forward to over the next year, Ashley, with your pregnancy. Night sweats.
Yep. Got those.
Incontinence.
Yeah, I'm worried about that one.
And Dr. P mentioned hemorrhoids, but he didn't mention what a listener texted in, something called double hemorrhoids.
That sounds twice as bad.
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah, you get them on everywhere.
Hi, everybody.
Dr. P. Jesus, welcome to the Half-Assed Morning Show.
93X.
Here it is. A comic by the name of Robert Schimmel went on HBO years ago and talked about how he doesn't suffer from premature ejaculation. His wife does. That's the joke I was searching for. You're a great crowd. Thanks for tuning in to the Half-Assed Morning Show. Dr. P. Jesus is in studio, and he will be for the next 10 minutes or so, fielding your health-related questions and, along with the rest of us, busting Ashley's chops for being pregnant.
I have a little bit of advice for the people that have a small penis.
Small penis advice.
Yes.
Listening?
Oh, dang it.
Hammer real hard back and forth until you pass out. Is that the advice?
If you have a small penis, get really good at oral.
Oral.
Yep.
Well,
And it doesn't matter.
I had an old timer tell me once at the bar. He's passed on now, which is sad because I wish he had more jokes for me, but he talked about how he was older than the hills and he had some kind of an operation and the freaking brajol stopped working. But he said, not a big deal because he's got a good tongue, he told me.
Wow.
Yep.
And we should. So penis enlargement surgery. Again, I have not. I've never had a patient friend or anybody I know go through that. And I'd say it's pretty controversial. Yeah,
seems that way.
It's a pretty big risk. And I think despite what many guys think, most women don't have an orgasm during sexual intercourse.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he mentioned that she married him.
So he might be expecting a bit much, and I mean, I think it's rare for women too. So
Don't you think if it was a deal breaker, she wouldn't have married the guy unless they, waited? I mean, nobody waits anymore.
Yeah, he's a married man. She loves him.
Yeah, I think. I mean, maybe it would turn out well, but it really, really might not.
We've had the conversation many times. Josh and I have thrown scenarios back and forth. Would you get a penis enlargement for this amount of money, or would you get a penis enlargement if you got this in return? And we always say no. It just sounds so scary, and the knives and the blood and there's just nothing worth that for me. Nothing worth it.
No, I mean, if it was guaranteed, even I think. To think about going through it would be frightening, but it's clearly not guaranteed that it will.
Oh, I would do it if it was guaranteed.
You would?
For sure.
I think we agreed that once we hit a certain age when we didn't care to use it anymore anyway, if the surgery kills it, so what? Maybe at that point we would do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, if it was guaranteed, why not?
How about 95% guaranteed?
I need more than that. Ref Audit Jesus said she has this random sensation that she's dipping her toes into warm water, and then it spreads up her foot, lasts about a second. And lately she's been feeling like there's hair or something between her toes, but there's nothing there.
Oh,
what gives?
She's losing her mind.
Well, I mean, I would say those are, obviously, if your foot is not in warm water, none of those things are happening, and you're getting weird sensations like that, it's basically what we would call neuropathy.
That's very frightening.
Yeah, well, the nerves in the feet can be sensitive and are a very common place for people to experience it. It can be caused by all sorts of different things. If it's one side, that's a little different than... I mean, the classic thing in this country, at least, with the prevalence of diabetes is diabetic neuropathy, where people will get weird sensations, tingling, burning, odd feeling underneath their feet. And then if you have poorly controlled diabetes for a long time, you can really lose sensation. That's usually going to affect both sides. There can be things just from compression of the way your shoes are fitting, or high heel shoes probably are a classic.
But in the long run, sometimes that can just... You can't feel a damn thing down there anymore, right?
If you have a condition that is going to like uncontrolled diabetes that will lead to progressive neuropathy. Then, I mean, but it can be slowed down or stopped with better control.
Okay.
So I mean, we don't know how old she is. We don't know any history, whether there was any injury. So it could be that. I mean, fungus between in the feet can clearly cause itching and unusual sensations.
I have that problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's. I would wonder about footwear or like a pinched nerve, kind of down at the ankle or foot.
I don't know about that.
Here we go. She's gotten back to us. Just one foot, right side, not a diabetic, don't wear heels.
Fungus.
Yeah, part of it is, going in and being seen, because objectively, with an exam, you can, with diabetes primarily, but for any time we're trying to determine how is your sensation, there's a thing called a monofilament, which is, it's almost like a short piece of thick fishing line that you kind of poke at the skin of the foot, which it's a standardized amount of pressure.
Yeah.
And if you have normal sensation, you'll feel it anywhere on your foot. If you've got some decreased sensation and the nerves don't seem to be working right, you can see that. If it's clearly decreased, then there's also other studies like an EMG, which people might have heard of, electromyogram, which is a fairly unpleasant test to have because they have to stick little needles in the muscles and nerves to determine are things transmitting correctly.
That'll make you jump.
Yeah, I think just getting in to be seen, blood flow problems, worry about arterial insufficiency. But
does it mean anything to you that it's just one foot? Is that
I would say that's usually going to, with something like diabetes or hypothyroidism or things that affect your whole body, usually it's going to be symmetric, both sides, or blood clots. I mean, there's a zillion things that if people
this lady's in real trouble.
Ashley, do you think
probably not?
Would it do her any good to get real good at oral, or is that for the other deal?
Yeah, everybody should just get better at oral.
Wolfpack Softball Jesus said if you have a micro penis, what you do is you buy a sports car. That's how you fix it.
Oh, there you go.
Oh.
Milwaukee Metrology. Oh, I get it. Metrology. Yeah, I see what you did.
Clever.
And it took me a while. A compliment for you, Dr. P. Jesus. Per your recommendation, I had my pituitary tumor sucked out of my skull. They bored into my gourd through my nose, carved it up, and now I'm back to work and all is well. Thanks for the advice.
Great.
They sucked it right out of his friggin' noggin.
It's called the transsphenoidal approach. It's actually one of the craziest things I've ever seen in my training. It's
pulling a tumor out of someone's nose.
They basically go up between your nose and your upper teeth.
Oh, so it's in your mouth?
No, it's straight back behind there. But that's the approach is through your face.
They pulled it out of there, and they said they gave it to him in a baggie.
I don't remember. Was he someone that had visual symptoms? Or
I don't remember.
I don't either. But
any of the details. But obviously, you helped to pimp out.
What causes sepsis in someone unlucky in Wisco?
Heard bad stories.
Yeah.
I dated a girl who almost died from sepsis.
I mean, sepsis really is.
They said she was minutes. So if she didn't show up at the hospital within minutes, they think they wouldn't have been able to save her.
Oh, wow.
Sepsis is a term that encompasses a lot of things. What it really boils down to is you have an infection that has gotten into your bloodstream and is spreading throughout your body quickly, and if it's not controlled quickly, then
sorry, I'm just giggling at Josh is bent all the way over at the waist.
I had to blow my nose. I don't want to get on the air here.
Bent all the way over at the waist, so we couldn't hear him blow his nose.
That was weird. But yeah, sepsis, a blood infection that can quickly get out of control, can cause end organ damage, so it can affect your heart, lungs, kidneys, brain. And can progress really rapidly. It can happen for a zillion different reasons.
It can start in the weirdest minor ways.
It can. I mean, you could get your teeth cleaned and be really unlucky and get bacteria in your bloodstream and get septic. You could have a cat bite and have it start streaking up your arm, get in your bloodstream. You could have a terrible urine infection or a kidney infection. So it's the response to infection and the severity of an infection.
Terrible.
They weren't 100% sure, but my girlfriend that had that, they said urine tract infection.
Wasn't a micropenis injury.
Well, that's how it started.
Yeah.
I also know a young feller that just about checked out due to that sepsis, and it was all very frightening. It was all new to me. I'd never heard a story like what he had and what he had gone through, and it started so simply with a cut or something like you were describing.
Yeah. And basically, the good thing is that
we're so fragile.
Recognition of sepsis, care for sepsis has become really standardized. There's like sepsis. Well, there's sepsis diagnostic criteria, sepsis scales. That if you end up in an urgent care or the hospital and it's suspected, there's protocols to really quickly evaluate you, get you IV fluids, be doing a number of tests. Not letting something get out of control.
I mean, it's deadly. I mean, my uncle passed away from it. He would have gone probably that same day. He had his stomach basically exploded. He had cancer really bad.
God damn.
They said technically he died from sepsis, but it would have been.
Yep. So, not something you want.
Dr. P. Jesus.
What a profound way to.
That was deep, man.
It's not a good thing. To catch, the Ed McMahon of the Half-Assed Morning Show, Dr. PG.
Yes.
Thanks very much. We got to get going because Cubby over there is about to tell us about a show that's coming to town, and I think it's a good one.
Oh, it's
but
awesome.
Before we get to Josh, thanks, Dr. P. Looking good. You sound great. We always appreciate your help.
Yeah, great to be here. Good to see y'all.
Before our announcement, quick shout out here to Robbie from Dad, Goat Chemist Jesus. Happy birthday to Kiki, whose birthday was Saturday. From Dad, Dairy Farming, Sheet Metal, Banging Your Mom, Jesus. And this is very strange because my mom's birthday's coming up yesterday. My brother yesterday said they're going to take her to a concert for her birthday. And I made a joke about this band, and here we are announcing them. This was a surprise to us until a couple hours ago.
Uh-oh.
You can show us your vulgar display of power and join 93X as we present the Cowboys from Hell, Pantera, with special guest Amon Amarth, Thursday, August 7th at Target Center. Pantera is coming back to town. The 93X presale kicks off Thursday at 10 a.m. with the code 93X Radio. You can find that at 93X.com. Again, Thursday at 10 a.m. And then this Friday, tickets go on sale to the regular public.
93X.
Hey, podcast listeners. Dana here. Can I let you guys in on a little secret? Just between us. We like all of you much, much more than the folks that listen live. But no matter how, when, or where you check out the Hams podcast, we got to give thanks to our friends at Standard Heating for making it all possible. It's been a pretty tame winter so far, but we know well enough that we're not out of the woods yet. So hit up standardheating.com to get them out to your house to make sure your furnace is tuned up to do all of the furnace-y types of things it's supposed to do. I'm still learning the lingo. Make that appointment today. Become a Smart Club member like me. That's standardheating.com.